Yeah.
Good to go?
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of DCL Primetime. Tonight, we analyze games past and upcoming, guests of honor, performances to celebrate, and as usual, something exciting for you in the midst of it all. And to take you on this ride tonight with me, I have joining Parthiv, Satya, and Viju, my usual accomplices. And we also have as our guest of honor for the night, Kapil from Team Strikers for our team spotlight of the week. So welcome all of you to this episode tonight. And thank you especially, not just to my cohorts in this, but also to Kapil for taking the time and joining us tonight. Thank you so much, everybody. So
thanks for having me.
As always, we start off with the analysis of our previous week games, some performances to celebrate, and maybe some performances to critique as well. So Parthiv, over to our resident specialist.
We go with team spotlight first.
No, I thought no, Satya, we go with the match analysis and then we go to spotlight. All right.
All right.
We sent, Avi sent the text also, right, Avi?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Parthiv, floor is yours. You may want to unmute yourself though.
Yes.
Yeah, I should do that. Am I clear now?
Oh, yes.
Crystal clear.
All right. All right. So this week, I think it was a week of upsets for me. Kings 11 beating Strikers, Spartans beating Brownstown, SSK beating Patriots. So a lot of results going against what was popular analyst predictions. And then there were a lot of matches which were close, but not so close enough. So you go with Raptors and Troy Hawks, Safaris versus Thunders. Thunders at one point of time were almost to the brink of, anything could happen. It was actually a week where a lot of teams, kind of left their opponents off the hook. So Punjab Warriors versus Sterling Strikers is a perfect example. Punjab Warriors had Sterling Strikers almost like 26 for 7, and then they let them go and score up to 96. But overall, I think what we've seen in the last 2 weeks is the times in game have changed. A lot of credit should be given to this harder ball. I was playing this week in Novi, and it was really raining sixes. Almost everywhere you see, people were hitting it out of the ground. So I think it's very good news for DCL. It's getting balance in terms of ball and bat. First, I remember it used to be 2 or 3 sixes in an innings. Now it's almost getting to 5, close to around 8, 9 sixes a game per inning. So the par score has kind of changed, shifted from what used to be 70s, 80s to now what is now 90s, 100, 110. That's kind of the par score which we're looking at across the board. So why don't we start off with the first game? I have Raptors and Troy Hawks. Okay, as I mentioned, this was a game which I think Raptors should have won on paper, and especially after scoring a huge score of 145. They somehow struggled to actually get, kind of defend that score. Troy Hawks were steady in their chase. And I think partly I blame Raptors' bowling attack. I think if you see the scorecard, they have 9 bowlers who bowled in the game. Either Mr. Pradeep Bota is trying some of his bowlers, or maybe he's poor in math. Either one of the two. I see that as a miscalculation on his part of letting Troy Hawks off the hook, losing a bonus point in trying out too many bowlers. On the batting front, I see a lot of good scores from the Raptors team. Kiran, Pradeep, Amar all had a decent bat in the middle. There was a hat trick, and this is something which is happening unique this time in DCL. I don't remember like any season where we've had like 2 weeks and 2 hat tricks, but this is the new times, the new post-COVID times. So things have changed. You're getting a hat trick almost every week. So that's something which is heartening to know. Raptors at one point of time, they must have thought that they won the game with 145, but Sasidhar, Pradeep, steadied the innings. They almost carried the innings all throughout, and Troy Hawks would feel really grieved, falling short of just 7 runs. But they'll take heart in getting that bonus point, which I think would be very, very crucial coming down. And then next, I think they take on Safari, which should be a game where they should be looking for bagging all the 5 bonus points. So all in all, I think a close game, more than what we thought, but Raptors come through.
Parthiv, on this game, what I felt was that we had Kiran Boinapalli open the innings. Now, I don't remember the last time I've seen him open the innings. But Here is a guy who does not get his due. I remember, what was that, 3 years ago? Was it 2018 when Raptors had that super team, which included you and Vraj and a bunch of players from many other teams. And I know in the very first playoff games against Pokris, Kiran did not get to play. In fact, he was sitting outside and watching the game. But he was one of the most consistent bowlers on Raptors. And I found that very odd that he was sitting out in that game. But this is a guy who does not get his due. He is very loyal to the team. He has always played for Raptors. And now with his buddy Botta in charge, hopefully he'll get his due, because this is a guy who shows up for every game. He plays with a lot of passion. He bowls well. And now I see that he both batted very well. 44 and 58 is almost any team will take it. So I thought that was a pretty good outing by him. But then again, if you really look at it, it was not just him. In order to get to this huge total of, 145 or so, basically you had Pradeep Botta bat very well. And if you ask me, if the game is on the line and it's a pressure situation, there are some players who perform better than others under pressure situation. And I have found Botta to be that guy who performs game after game. When the pressure gets tougher and tougher and harder, this guy really performs. So I have always found that, he's one of the money players in DCL. And then you had Amar out there scoring a brisk 23, and you had also the other Pradeep score 20 odd runs. But all in all, 145, when I saw on the board, I thought 5 points with bonus easily in the Raptor kitty. But Troy Hawks had a different idea. And you have to give credit to Troy Hawks for this, because every year they have consistently improved year to year, and they have added their
Absolutely.
talent, or their existing players have come out and performed really well. And that is what happened in this game. It was a newfound respect I have for them. But then this new additions of Santosh and Natraj from Team Lions to this thing, and Shashi and Natraj. And Sashi is an excellent batsman. He has always been an excellent batsman. So to go along with that hat trick by Santosh, you had Shashi and the other Pradeep who put on a real good show. Because if you look at it, this Pradeep Reddy scored 47 in 33 balls. And at one point of time, I was thinking an upset is very much on the cards, because again, as you said, Raptors bowling too many bowlers. Again, I'm not sure what the logic there was, but definitely that too much experimentation certainly cost them a bonus point, just like too much experimentation on the part of Indus Thunders cost them a bonus point. But all in all, it was a fantastic outing by Troy Hawks. Troy Hawks have nothing to be ashamed of. This was a fabulous game. If I could watch one game, this would have been one game I would have loved to have gone and watched just as a fan, because this was that good. I was watching this game live on the app, and I thought it was really good. So congrats to Raptors, but I think it was, even though they lost the game, it was Troy Hawks' day actually. So they should take a lot of confidence from this game going into the future games. But that's about what I had to say.
Absolutely. And that's a perfect segue into the next game, which is the Indus Thunders taking the foot of the pedal.
Parthiv,
yes.
If you don't mind, would you go in this order in which that is there on the website? The only reason I say that is that way we won't miss a game.
Sure.
We are going, right down. If you start with the very first game, which is Agni versus KRCC, and then go to Hitman and Legends, the only thing with that is all of us know, okay, what is the next game coming up, kind of a thing. Just a suggestion. That way, you also
Absolutely.
won't miss a game.
Absolutely. I think I'll probably bring up the results page. So I go in that order. All right. So let's go with that order. We'll go with the FCC Agni game. FCC Agni game, FCC Agni versus KRCC. I think halfway through the game, Ramesh must have fancied his chances against KRCC with just 85 odd runs on board. It was always going to be an uphill task for Agni, but I think they started really well with the ball, and then they ran into our favorite, your former Glad, Maulik Patel. He just basically came in, bludgeoned big sixes, and I've always seen him in a hurry to finish the games, which is a good thing in a pressure situation when you're chasing, because you want the momentum to kind of shift. And I think he was perfectly placed to do that. He came in, got the momentum back on KRCC side, and looking at his innings of 33 runs, I'm surprised that he had only 2 sixes, which makes me believe that he actually kind of worked his way through the innings. Got a lot of singles and doubles, and along with Prajwal, got KRCC to safety. Bihar again, he's my favorite in the KRCC's lineup, and I see him again wasted down the order. So unless Yogi has a very good explanation of why he's down the order, I find this situation really preposterous, really, to get Bihar so down the order. Again, the unusual thing which we see here, again, which is common across some of these games early on, is again, Ramesh experimented with seven bowlers, and except for one of the bowlers, which is Deepak Patel, none of his bowlers completed 5 overs quota, which again is baffling, especially when you're defending 85 odd runs. You want your ace bowlers to bowl the maximum number of overs. So that was something which I thought Ramesh missed the trick there. And KRCC meet strikers, and I'm already rubbing my hands, licking my tongue to kind of about the contest. And if this doesn't motivate my team, I don't know what will. So I'm definitely looking forward for the next weekend and meeting KRCC.
Parthiv, on this game, I thought that this was a clinical win for KRCC. We had Yogesh come on the show, and he analyzed the game, and he said, his team is prepared to do whatever it takes to win these games. He is looking at all opponents, and he said he's studying the opponents, and he's studying also his own players as to how to use them. But I have to give kudos to FCC Agni for one reason. Well, clearly, Ramesh is a quick learner, because if you look at it, it's no more Mohan 90210, but rather it is Mohan Mano. And that's good for the player too, because he's getting the recognition now. It's not some Mohan with a numerical number, but Mohan Mano. Now, in this one, he did not click. But I honestly feel in this game, again, Ramesh missed a thing which he could have probably used to his advantage, because Raghu Muralidharan used to go 1 down in knockers, or even 2 down in knockers. And if you ask me, he's a pain to get out. It's like, if you're in opposition, this guy is a person who will stick there at the wicket, and he can bat for 15 overs, 20 overs. He's not going to score you maybe 60 runs or 70 runs or something like that. Yeah, if he has his day, he probably can score that. But he can rotate the strike, and he can prevent the fall of wickets. So I felt that where Arjun Adabla went, probably maybe Raghu should have gone there, with the express intention that he needs to go there and control the innings and pace the innings, you see. And being a right-left combination, that further creates a lot more problems to the opposition. So this might be something. And Ramesh is a quick learner. I have to give credit to Ramesh, because I have always found him wanting to learn new things and willing to improve his team and do whatever it takes. And I also found him to be a person with tremendous integrity, a person whom you can deal good, honest dealings with, and a person looking to improve his team and looking to see what other good teams are doing. But here is a free advice. It is that try to use Raghu properly, because Raghu coming that low down it's not often he's going to score 24 in 26 balls. But if you had him up the order, he probably could do a lot more damage. And in that case, you probably might not be losing 9 wickets, and you probably might have been able to further increase the thing. But coming back to the KRCC innings, there was a quick lapse. But I was happy to see Maulik Patel. And you said, Maulik Patel is in a hurry to finish the game. Actually, when I look at the scorecard, I feel he was not in that big a hurry, because the Maulik Patel that I know of is boom, 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 boom. I mean, I was in a DCL final in 2013, and we need just 2 runs to win. And this guy went there saying, I'm going to finish the game in Dhoni style. And he went and tried to hit a full toss from Binod for a 6, and he gave a catch. But since then, he has improved a lot. And if you look at it, he had a lot of patience. He hit 2 sixes, which means that the remaining 21 runs came in, probably 40 balls, which is about a 50% strike rate. You get my point? So he has learned this, he has adapted his game, wherein he says, you know what, every game ball cannot go for a 6, but I'm just going to wait my time. When the right ball comes along, I'm going to dispatch it for a 6. So if you really look at it, I thought he had a very fabulous game in this one, especially after an early setback, and Prajwal batted well. But all in all, it was a very good outing for KRCC. But for KRCC on the bowling end, I thought that Sahesh, Gaba, and my favorite magician in DCL, Ronak Patel, they were Amar, Akbar, and Anthony of the Amar, Akbar, Anthony fame. They came and they demolished Agni. 2 games, 10 points. 2 games, comprehensive win. I feel that anytime you get a bonus, it's a comprehensive win. So yes, 2 games out of 10. Avi, 8 more games to go for KRCC and Yogesh to make me grow a mustache. Let's see if they can make it happen.
I think the bus stops right there this week. So we'll see.
Okay.
We're game on right here then on DCL Prime Time.
Absolutely. All right, next, I think we go to Hitman versus the Legend. This was round 2. Again, as I mentioned last time, unusual to see 2 teams kind of play back-to-back weeks in DCL. But if Legends won by, kind of referee scoring round 1, this round 2 was a complete knockout, total decimation. Harish Yelamanchali destroyed the Hitman batting order completely. His figures, 4 overs, 2 maidens, 3 runs, and 6 wickets, are probably probably one of the best, if not the best, since we don't have the data to kind of match it, the bowling figures. But I would say this is probably in the top bracket, these bowling figures. And I was fortunate to kind of see it across from my dugout. And every time I see him, he reminds me so much of the South African great Dale Steyn. He has that perfect action, perfect rhythm, perfect run up, and it's very difficult to find such a bowler. Nowadays, with every bowler kind of having different run ups and different styles. So he's a very traditional, orthodox bowler, and the way he got his 6 wickets, it was completely like a whitewash. Hitman had no chance. They got out in 26, and Satish was packing his bags while we were in our dugout waiting for our second innings to start. It was such a quick finish. They scored in less than 4 overs or something, and they completed the game. KK came out and just smashed the runs which were needed, and it was game, set, and match right there. So Legends win, and Legends win with a complete control over this, and I'm definitely looking forward for the next game, which is probably going to be one of the showcase game of the week against Brownstown. So they are well prepared, and it's the perfect time because Brownstown will be looking hungry for a win. So it'll be perfect storm.
Are we on this game, Hitman versus Legends? I uttered the phrase Hitman ko goli maar in week 1. I was 1 week too early because in the first week, Hitman put in a very credible performance. In fact, I was pretty impressed with their performance. But in this game, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie. It's a James Bond movie, The Man with the Golden Gun. Well, the man with the golden gun was Harish Yelamanchali. And this guy was on fire. When you give only 3 runs and pick 6 wickets, in other words, for every run, you pick 2 wickets. I mean, I don't think you're going to find that kind of outstanding figures, even if you go through the entire season. I mean, this is probably the best figure so far this season. And he was the man with the golden gun, and he had 6 bullets in his gun. And he went boom, 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 6 of them. And out of the 6, 5 of them, 4 were bowled and 1 was LBW. In other words, you miss it, either your wicket is gone or you're trapped right in front. So he is bang on target, and 5 of those were gone. Before you knew it, the Hitmen were getting hit on their wickets as well as their legs, and this game was over. And I think he's a great player. We have been talking about him for some time, saying that he has been tearing up Mishka. Well, now he is tearing up DCL. Great player with a great game. I had seen him once. I've never seen him in person, but I saw him once when Glad's broadcast a game between Dark Horses and Gladiators, and we won that game. But I remember watching that game, and as I was watching that game, as long as he was at the crease, I kept saying, we need to get this guy out as quickly as possible. Finally, we got him out and we got the bonus. But that was not an easy game because he did not make it easy for us. But I do think that they put a fantastic performance. If you saw the movie Rocky, in one of the Rocky movies, Rocky's manager was arranging opponents, and he was picking these easy pickings, you see, the low-hanging fruit, the boxers who are not that great. So you go out and have a match and you demolish him. And Rocky doesn't realize it. And then finally the question was, do you want to fight Mr. T? And, Rocky says, why not? And his manager says, no, why not? Oh, he's a killer. He's a killer. He's going to kill you. And so we were expecting Legends to have this kind of performance in week 1. Well, guess what? Just in time for Brownstown game, they put in a fantastic game. So all congrats to Satish and Legends. Hard luck, Hitman. You just got demolished by one man.
Yeah, just to chip in real quick. Yeah, it does seem to be what do you call it? An annus mirabilis, I'd say, for Harish. He's definitely been making waves, and he's the player to watch out for this year. So, yep, it's certainly be exciting to watch him, both with the bat and the ball.
Yeah, next I think we go with the Brownstown Spartans, and again I want to say, didn't I say so? Second time in a row. The Brownstown diesel engine hasn't started yet. It's still in the cranking mode. It's still.
I see Satya smiling there.
It's still in the crank mode. It's still warming up. I met Rashid and Rehan on the ground, and I asked them what did they think about our show. And Rashid told me that he specially sent the link out to Rehan, and Rehan was like, oh my God, Viju talks to me as if I'm a 25-year-old. And I'm like, dude, he's making sure that, you get up and, get noticed, and, he's putting you in the limelight so that, you step up. So he was all guns, he was all ready, and he looked very, hungry to get out and go. And then they had Mansab Bhatt. They brought in Mansab Bhatt. Saad and Rashid realized, that this game is going to be crucial for them to get on the board. Even though Spartans aren't like the most threatening team, but I guess Rashid knows that they need to get on the board because they have legends waiting. They have some of the big games coming along the way. So even though Spartans didn't really have to do much, Brownstown somehow again failed to post a challenging total. They again won the toss. They again were in with a chance of batting the opposition out. They again failed to score a big one, and there were not 1 run outs, Viju. There were 3 run outs.
Well, you know where I'm going with this, Parthav. You are already laughing. You know the man who got run out again. You know
Right.
where I'm going.
Yeah. So actually, I must correct. It's not actually. Last time you said. To the fielding team, just throw it to Rehan's side. It's actually not that. It's actually it's like Brownstown. You got to get at least somebody run out. The big hitters in Brownstown still haven't woken up. They haven't found their groove yet. But everybody knows all through the history. It's a matter of time before they get their act together. with just 1-6 in the entire innings. That sounds very surprising for a Brownstown team. But on the talking about Spartans, I think Puneet and Chanakya really, if you look at the scorecard, they batted really well, kept the middle order really, stepped up after a collapse, a kind of a mini collapse at the start. They kind of grouped together, got the chase going. And even though it was, what I would call it a comfortable chase, but in the end, if you look at the scorecard, it looks very comfortable win for them. But there were moments when things were not, you couldn't call. And another surprising thing here, if you look at the scorecard again, Mansab Butt not used 5 overs, which again surprises me when you brought in your ace bowler. Why wouldn't you want to give him all the 5 overs to kind of make sure you get the wickets, especially when you don't have too many runs to play. So another tactical, I would say, lapse from Brownstown. I always believe that when you're defending, or even when you're chasing, the top batsmen and your top bowlers need to have the maximum exposure. Another thing which I guess made the difference here is the extras. If you look at Spartans, they were miserly, really miser, 7 extras, whereas Brownstown, they leaked 25 extras. So give 4 overs extras to Spartans. This basically, even though it doesn't show up too much in the scoreboard, but in the end, those are the things that make the difference. And one of the things that the committee has received complaint about this game was this game went on beyond the stipulated 1 o'clock, which is again something which I've seen that happen over a period of time with Brownstown. They tend to kind of take their time, even at the start of the game, and even towards the end, where they're doing the field position placements. And I think this is something which Rashid has to correct really quickly, because this is something which I know is something which the committee wants to address, and Brownstown need to be very careful. Otherwise, they're looking for another fine on their register. So that would be my Viju, go ahead.
Avi, on this game, Brownstown scored 88, and I was fairly confident they would defend it. The reason I was fairly confident they can defend it was because I consider Rehan Malik and Rashid Malik to be 2 of the finest brains in DCL circles. So I have seen them time after time defend 60 runs, 70 runs, 80 runs. They bat first. Their formula is always very simple. Win the toss, bat. They bat. They put 70 runs, 80 runs on the board. These 2 guys are smart enough to figure out what the opposition likes to do and control them within that. And I thought the Brownstown batting did a decent job, because if you really look at it, Salman scored 26. It was a patient 26. Rehan Malik scored 11. It was good to see him back in the game. And that too, it was a brisk 11 in 14 balls. And then you had Yasser, who always seems to score double-figure numbers. He has always been the most consistent batsman for Rashid over the years. I'm talking about not just one season. I'm talking about multiple seasons together. And then Rashid himself came in at the right spot. And, unfortunately, Rashid also gets a lot of runouts. I've seen it numerous times where Rashid gets run out too. But my man, Rehan Bukhari, once again was run out. But really speaking, more than the Brownstown batting, it was the Brownstown bowling which really, I couldn't place my finger on it. And I said, these guys, the way they are bowling it, they can't bowl straight anywhere close to the wicket. Where the ball is supposed to go, they are not bowling anywhere close to it. In fact, I would say that if my grandmother woke up from the grave and put her on a penny and came to bat, guess what? These guys wouldn't even be able to get her out, because you're not bowling anywhere close to the wicket. All she has to do is stand. And as Parthiv already said, 25 extras, out of which 23 wides. Well, Rashid can be Einstein, and Rehan Malik can be Einstein's younger brother, but they are not going to be able to win too many games where you have already given 25 extras. And so that is not going to happen. And honestly, I felt that, that's where they lost the game. But I think that Rashid has to get Rehan Bukhari to produce, because Rehan Bukhari is one guy. If he's playing every game, he can change the outcome of a game. Now, I agree that he's telling Parthiv that, see, I'm not 25 anymore. But all I'm going to give Rehan Bukhari is this advice. All right, you're not 25. That's fine. But you know what? I had a very simple rule in Glads. I realized that when I went out to bat, everybody else is younger than me and fitter than me, and I cannot keep up with them. And I was getting out, run out after run out. As it is on Glads, I get very little opportunities to bat. But when I get to bat, I get run out. And I found that I'm responding to other people's calls and I'm getting run out. So I finally said, you know what, this is not going to work. So I have Anup in my team. If I run 1 run, that guy will run 3 runs. And so I have a very clear rule. I don't care who I am batting it with, whether it is Arjun or Anup or whoever it may be. I tell them one point very clearly. We are going to run only if it is my call. Every call is my call. There is no call which belongs to you. Every call is my call. In other words, if I can reach that end, you sure can reach the other end. There is no doubt about it. So the moment I did that, after that, I never got to run out even once. And so maybe Rehan Bukhari needs to bring that rule into the Brownstown thing. Hey, you know, guys, 2 games, 2 run-outs. So he's not even getting out because of some fault of his. He's just getting run out. So yeah, I mean, I do think that this is a guy who can change outcomes, because in a 2008 final, I saw what he did, and it was such a fabulous innings. And so I have respect for the guy, but I just feel if he got a little fitter, it would be better for Rehan Bukhari. But the person who would benefit the most is Rashid Malik, because here is a talent which is being wasted, because every time he gets run out, nothing good is going to happen. And you know, I think this was a good solid win for Blues, and Nadeem Khan followed the advice. He took wherever Rehan and Bukhari is running, they are obviously throwing to that end. And now everybody knows this formula. Guess what? Every other team is going to do the same thing. So my advice to Rehan Bukhari and to Rashid Malik is, let's become a little smarter. Because at this point, 2 out of 2, they have not even got 1 bonus point. And so when they come on, we are going to ask them, do they think they're going to make the playoffs? Because this game becomes a must-win game, and it is not against a pushover team. It is like what I told you in the Rocky movie. Well, this is a killer team which is coming now. It is Mr. T himself reincarnated coming. And Belavakonda and Satya, you know, Harish and those guys, they are not coming there to eat grapes and peanuts. You can feed me peanuts, but you're not going to feed them peanuts. They're going to be hitting those balls out of the park, or they're going to be making you run like crazy. And so, you know what? You need to come up with a game, because this has become a must-win game. Whereas if they had won at least 1 out of the 2 games, even if they had dropped this game, there was many other opportunities. But now that window is closing down, and I'm sure the think tank in Brownstown knows this very well, more than I have to tell them.
Yeah, and the insider news is, Harish is predominantly, committed to his leather ball league, but I know they have a bye next week, so I'm fully expecting him to play, and it would be really interesting to see how he, squares up against the Brownstown batters.
And the Glad skipper kept a remarkably straight face through most of that. So I'm just going to say there that the next time Glads versus Brownstown play, I'm sure you heard the man. I would love to see Viju pad up in that game and maybe show the Brownstown guys how it's done in action as well.
That would be fun. Rehan Bukhari bowling against Viju, that would be fun. That would be a highlight.
You know what will be even more fun? Rehan Bukhari and me running at the same time, batting on the same team. There will be no single scored, okay? Let me tell you that. There will be no single scored, baby. There will be no... Everybody can stand wherever they want. There will be not a single taken, all right? It has to be a boundary or no run. Simple as that. If Rehan Bukhari and I am batting together. So that would be even more fun, because we'd be having dot ball after dot ball, or Rehan Bukhari depositing every ball outside the park. Those are the only 2 outcomes.
Well, we have 2 committee members here. Hopefully, we can have a Masters championship in DCL like they have at the USA level. So, and maybe we could see that happen. So, but anyways, going on.
Yeah, pretty much the entire Brownstown team will be qualified for that Masters team, because I think they somehow never get old. So, all right, next match. Since we have Kapil here, I would like to invite him to kind of shed some light on the Kings 11 strikers game. Before I give my opinion or my analysis, I would like him to talk about it. Couple, mind sharing?
Yeah, so it's gonna be painful, but yes, I'll give my 2 cents. So we played Kings 11 last weekend. We won the toss. We decided to bat, and we had a pretty good start. We have a couple of new players in our team. Avi Ravindra is one of them, and he and Parag, they started. They're steady to begin with, and then as wickets started falling, Parthiv and Rahul, they went in and they also tried to steady the ship along with Binod. But then as we by the time we could realize something, it was already 5 wickets down. I don't remember the score. And then I went in along with our another new player, Amit, who was a new left-hander that we have. And, tried to, just kind of rotate around and try to, as Parthiv said, with this new ball, it is really, it's as a batsman, it's really fun, you have a, just hitting try to hit out of the park, right? If you connect, it's going to stay hit. And so tried a couple of that, I was able to get a couple of them out of the park. Then, when Rahul walked in, Rahul Pawar, and he's one of our biggest hitters within our team. And he was able to get a few out, a couple of 6 and a 4. So all in all, the batting was well. I mean, we scored 130 runs, and we're feeling pretty confident with the score that we had. And we thought, okay, we have enough bowling to give them all of the troubles, more than they could handle. But if you switch to their batting scorecard, we, with a couple of good scores in the top order, they were going well and steady, about 50 odd runs in 12 overs. But then really this person called Nikhil, he was unstoppable that day. He hit everything out of the park, right? So for example, I tried swinging 7 and I could connect 3. He swung 9 and he connected 9. So, and he just kept hitting everyone, and myself, I got hit the most. So being really on the wrong end, it was amazing to see, as a cricket player or just as a fan. I mean, we're on the wrong end of this game, but it was really great to see his inning. And really, they're a pretty young squad, and really great to see them coming in and really not bothering, even if the wickets were falling. Nikhil just, kept believed all the way until the end, until they just hit us out of the park. Our bowling wasn't sharp, other than Binod, I believe. Binod's always good. We dropped the ball with bowling, including me. So we have we had a pretty painful weekend after that.
Nice. So Kapil touched upon this guy Nikhil and the other guy Rahul. One thing which was really surprising, both of them are great hitters. They have great hand-eye coordination. But the other good thing is the swag they carry. This guy from our team, Rahul Pawar, he bats with an aviator on, and he goes there and bats like it's like a he's Salman Khan or something in the bung. He just goes with his aviator and he smashes every ball. And this guy Nikhil responds back with even bigger hits and then blowing kisses every time he hit our bowler. He would blow a kiss back to him, and I was like, and this is probably,
are you serious?
yeah, and it was so refreshing. Like, one of the things, like, I as a player, it's been a long time since I've felt helpless in this situation, because I wasn't bowling, I wasn't keeping, so I was feeling really left out. Like, I wasn't after the game I told my players, I just feel like I didn't contribute anything to the game. So it was one of those days, I guess, where nothing really worked and nothing really stuck in my mind. Like I should do this or that. Every time Nikhil would hit a six, I would say, let's switch a bowler, and then that bowler would get a hit, get hit again. And in a matter of 5 overs, like the scorecard doesn't show like runs every over, but if you see from 19th to the 23rd over, it was just total, over per score. I would love to see that. But if you see at from the 17th over onwards, it was just total mayhem. Every over almost had a couple of sixes, and then it just finished in a hurry. So I would give big credit to Kings 11. Great fight by the strikers team, but I do feel we still lack some teeth in bowling, and hopefully we can find some people who can step up and put their hands up. So I'm hoping that KRCC will turn things around.
So Parthiv, you didn't bowl, you didn't field. Were you at least in the 30-yard circle and wagging your
Yes.
tongue? If not, you were completely useless. That is your strongest skill set. So was Kapil using your strongest asset or no?
No, I was at mid-on and mid-off, but that's too far to get into the batsman's ears, to be honest. So I was trying my level best. I was trying to get people in a little more pumped up. But to be honest, I was just clueless in this game. I just felt like after a long time I wasn't part of the game. So definitely, I mean, I have a shoulder injury which I'm nursing. So hopefully next week I should be back in the bowling business.
Awesome.
Parthiv, it takes one dog to recognize another dog. All right. So let me tell you something. Okay. Our friend was saying that you were not at all involved in the game. Well, he hasn't. Let me evaluate the Pokeries game, and then we are going to ask this question: what in the world was Avinash Raghu doing? All right, forget batting. He's not on the batting scorecard. He's not on the bowling scorecard. I have no idea what he went to the ground for. He told his wife he's going for a great almighty DCL game where he's the host of DCL Primetime. And I thought being the host of DCL Primetime at least will buy you some brownie points. You would at least get to bat, or at least you would get to bowl a bit. Forget it. He did nothing. You at least batted. You just didn't bowl and you didn't keep. But this man doesn't arrive on the scorecard itself. He has magically disappeared. He has been erased completely off the scorecard, my friend. But coming back to the...
Right now, your biggest fan is Mrs. Avinash, because the only person who showed equal vehemence in asking those questions was my wife. So
okay, good. But anyway, coming back to this game, I thought this guy Nikhil really took it away, because I was watching this game again and I thought strikers had it in the bag, and then this guy started going, and after some time I said, wow, they better get this guy out, because if they're not getting this guy out, this is going to be serious trouble for Parthiv and company. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. 207.4 strike rate, unheard of in DCL. He single-handedly killed the strikers. And I was happy to see Binod Singh playing for strikers. Now, if you ask me, Binod Singh is a class act. He's a class act on multiple counts. But if you ask me in my 18, 19 years of playing DCL, Bichu, if I can give you only one bowler in the entire history of DCL at the height, at the prime of their career, which bowler would you pick? And I would say I would pick Binod Singh, because I have seen him in his prime and he was simply fabulous. And now, even at this age, at 5 overs, 1 maiden, 18 runs and 2 wickets, that is nothing to sneeze at. It is still the best figures on this day. But also, we are talking about day in and day out, he comes and produces, but he moves the ball. He's a canny bowler. He's an intelligent bowler. He has got, and when he was young and in his prime, his figures were more like 5 overs, 8 runs, 5 overs, 6 runs. And I know that the only person who probably can give him competition is Deepak Giriappa, but Deepak has pace. Binod has something called variation and guile and movement. And if you ask me who would I prefer, I would take Binod Singh any day, because good batsmen, they can handle pace and they can handle what troubles them is generally movement. And so if you ask me, Binod Singh is a class act. I have seen him play. I have been a big fan of his. Happy to see him in a striker uniform, but in his heydays while he was playing for Megabytes, this guy was the premium bowler in DCL and all-time great, if you ask me. In the bowling end, the best bowler DCL has ever seen is Binod Singh. If you want to learn bowling, go to him and learn bowling and ask him what are the tricks in bowling and how you should bowl and what you should be thinking about. So I wanted to give a shout out. Again, that's my job as a color analyst, is to highlight certain players and bring the color out of that spectrum and talk them up, because reading a scorecard is a different thing, and then highlighting certain people and say, okay, next time somebody hears the name Binod Singh, it's going to register that he's probably DCL's greatest bowler ever.
I call him.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I call him the Kobe Bryant of DCL because he's got the highest number of rings, DCL championship rings. I think 4 with Megabytes, 1 with Falcons. I don't think anybody, if I'm right, I don't think anybody has 5.
No, I think
maybe
there are Hariharan has 5 and Bangera also has 5, because Bangera got 1 with knockers.
Right.
And then Hariharan got 1 with knockers. So definitely a couple of those. Even Raghu Tadi got 5 because Raghu Tadi was also on that Falcons team.
Yep. Okay. So there are a few, but again, like you said, he's amongst the top. And to be honest, we've been trying for probably 3 or 4 years to get him to play. And finally he has agreed to play with us, play cricket.
I'm glad he's playing because he's a treat to watch anytime he goes out. And he's a fantastic batsman too. I mean, he's just underrated as a batsman, but he's a very good batsman actually, who can score briskly, he can bat according to the situation, and he's a very good fielder too. I mean, I have seen him make throws, unbelievable throws. There was once I was an umpire in an FCL league game, and this guy was standing at long on, all right? And at that point, I was the square leg umpire, and I was not paying that much attention because I'm expecting the throw from long on to come to the non-striker's end. Instead, what he does is he throws right to the striker's end, and that ball lands full pitch right on the stumps, and the batsman is caught short. Even the batsman was not expecting that the ball is coming to his end. He was that good. So we have to acknowledge his greatness and say that, too good. And I know for years, GLCC has been looking for a bowler like Binod. And they said when they got Pradeep, that Pradeep was their answer to Binod. But honestly, that is, I don't think that is true. I mean, yes, Pradeep is a good bowler, but he is not Binod. I'll any day take Binod Singh over anybody else. So, and now coming back to this game, I am looking at the scorecard and saying, where in the world is Parthiv Mehta? I am not seeing him at the bowling end. What in the world is going on? The game is on the line. Why is he not bowling? And then I asked him after the game, and he said that he had a tennis elbow. And I have something to say about the tennis elbow later on when we get to predictions. But anyway, tennis elbow or no tennis elbow, huge win for Kings 11. Brand new team. But their skipper, Vijay Kamam, I want to give him credit. I do not know the gentleman personally, but I have heard great things about his organization skills because apparently he organizes a lot of the FCC tournament.
Yes,
I have seen him as an umpire for some of the Glad's games in the finals, and I have always told Satya, well, try to see if you can get Vijay Kamam to be the umpire because that guy is a fabulous umpire. So he's a fabulous addition to DCL. Kings 11, I think, was a fantastic addition to DCL. But Vijay Kamam, the person, is an even better person as an addition to DCL. And maybe this is a guy later on, the committee should look to see if we can get him into the committee because he is a hardworking guy. He's a genuine guy. And these are the kind of guys we have to promote. And if that person has an interest, I would tell Satya, by all means, the Glad's vote should go to a guy like that who is genuine, who is conscientious, and comes and performs and does his job. And he doesn't play any favorites or any of those things. So I'm going to give him a shout out on this game for that. But congrats to Kings 11. We did not expect Kings 11 to win. But yeah, they threw mud on our face.
Yeah. I think talking about mud on the face, I think the next game is another one, which is, mud on the face for the analysts. I think we had like 5-0 towards Patriots. Pretty much everyone.
It was not 5-0, it was 6-0.
6-0, yes. I forgot. We had another showcase game of the week as well. The prediction from there. So yes, both having 6-0, and I'm sure SSK captain must be itching to tell us in your face to the analyst after the show. Simply amazing. I think the kind of chase which they had, I looked at the scorecard over and over again, and couldn't find a standout performance. I mean, there were contributions pretty much all through the scorecard. If you look at the scorecard, pretty much everybody has double digits. And what is heartening to see is the strike rate. Even though there is just 1-6 in the entire scorecard, there were a few boundaries, but strike rate is in the high 70s, 80s for pretty much everyone. I mean, 100 also for a couple of them. So I think the timing of the chase, and I compare it to kind of the Kohli-stick chase. Virat Kohli does that. He kind of paces his innings so well that it, before you know it, the chase is done. He doesn't have too many, big hits, but he always keeps the scorecard moving. Always has a boundary every once in a while. Hits, sixes aren't his strength, but he always has a strike rate which is around the 100, 125, 130. And that's what this scorecard or this SSK chase looks like. Pretty much everyone put their heads down, kept the scorecard moving, never let the pressure come up, and successfully chasing a target of 110 is not that easy in DCL, especially with a team against Patriots. So I definitely think the batting order, as well as the team which Lingam has put together, is definitely a much better team, which is coming over the period of time. And just like how you mentioned Troy Hawks, I think SSK is in the same mold. I see them over a period of years have improved consistently. Initially, they were kind of a walkover team, but now they no longer are a walkover team. They definitely can upset, and even I'm looking for even a playoff position this year. If they keep performing the way they are, I think playoff position is definitely on the cards. And next game would be something of a test for them. They take on Dynamites, and a win there would definitely put them in that contention towards playoffs. So I definitely feel SSK are definitely rising up to the occasion, and Patriots, they would feel definitely a little disappointed after scoring 110, just like how strikers felt scoring 130. 110 you expect to kind of defend with your bowling attack, and somehow they weren't able to kind of keep the pressure on, weren't able to take wickets at regular intervals, and which resulted in SSK kind of cruising through at the end.
Avi, on this game, I think for 2 back-to-back weeks, the analysts on this show have done a fabulous job. Both weeks, they identified the correct game to be the showcase game of the week. Both weeks, both the Dynamites FCC game and the SSK versus Patriots game, both showcase game of the week, lived up to its billing. Both came down to the wire, and both of them were fabulous games to watch, if you ask me. They were close and very exciting and very interesting. We had last week the Patriots skipper on our show, and we did ask him, I did remember asking him, what does he have to take to go to the next level? And I already have the answer for him as to one of the things which he needs to do, because if you really look at it, I think the Patriots batting was good. 110 is pretty decent by any stretch of the imagination. That is very much defendable, but depends on what kind of bowling attack you have. Now, in this game, I didn't have concerns over the batting. Obviously, we have seen different stars performing big hits for them. The previous week, it was Naresh Sundar. He hit 81 runs and things like that. I think their batting is fine, but I have serious concerns about their bowling. And their bowling is definitely looking like weak, especially the fifth bowler. And that's where you will find that it is the fifth bowler who was taken for runs. And, they tried various combinations, but it is the fifth bowler, which 3 overs 18 for Kondal and then 2 overs 14 for Tejasvi. that is more than what they can afford to give, especially when you're defending 110 runs. So if you are the captain, this is one area which you need to plug the hole, because otherwise that hole is going to keep leaking and leaking and leaking. And so that is something. But coming back to this game, let's give credit where credit is due. Lingappan has changed the fortunes of SSK. If you remember SSK, the very first year they joined the league, they were the laughing stock of the league. 0 wins. Everybody wanted to play SSK to pile up some record. And some of the new teams which joined this year, yes, we criticize them. We have nothing against them. We just criticize them because we want them to improve. And they can take a page out of Lingappan's book, because here is a team, SSK, which has gone from 0 wins to, seriously trying to make it to the playoffs. And this season, as Parthiv said, if they don't make the playoffs, I would be a little surprised, because what they put on a show against Patriots tells me that they are definitely looking to capture one of those 5 playoff spots which is available in their pool. But Lingappan himself has done a fabulous job with that team, and oftentimes we are quick to blame the skipper, but we also need to give the skipper his due for turning his team around and making it the object of attention of various other teams. But I honestly thought that SSK has done a fabulous job. Lingappan has done a fabulous job in this game. Kalyan, Yuvraj, Bala, and Venkat. They were the quartet, and that quartet did a fantastic clinical run chase. And by the way, is this Bala the Bala from Pokhari's, Avi?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so he was not getting much opportunity in Pokhari's, but he comes out here and he is really performing very well. So this is definitely good news for Bala, because here is a change in scenario and scenery, and he is really blooming. And obviously in this win, especially when you had only 6 balls to spare, definitely his 11 runs in 11 balls certainly made a huge difference. Obviously the others who scored also made a big difference. But yeah, I think it was a definite good game for SSK. Congrats to Lingappan. I'm very impressed to go from where they were to where they are now.
Yes, definitely happy to see Bala getting his chance, and let's hope for SSK's sake that their performance wasn't a flash in the pan. Next up, Parthiv, what do you have for us?
Next up is the game which I thought was, again was another in-your-face kind of for the analysts. Thunderbolts versus UCA. I think this was another one where I predicted Thunderbolts, but you guys went with UCA for some reason because they had Marco's team, and Thunderbolts get shunting out because of
these Marcos guys and these Brownstown guys are killing me. Let me tell you that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But going back to the game again, I think Thunderbolts would be, to be honest, disappointed with what just 96 with the kind of start they had. If you look at the scoreboard, the openers had a great outing with Vinod and Jaffer scoring 24 and 28, and after that you see there was kind of a collapse. It's single digits all the way. So they failed to kind of capitalize after the great start they got, and so 96, just getting 96 and getting all out in 20 overs, that would be definitely something which the Thunderbolts wouldn't have liked. They had every chance of batting UCA completely out of the game with another 20-30 runs with 4 or 5 overs to go, and that would have put them in a very comfortable spot. But again, 96 is still kind of the score which you can definitely bowl to. So it isn't like a score which we haven't seen teams win. But for that kind of score around that 80s and 90s, you need a good start. You need a good bowling. The first 5 overs, especially in the power play, you want to take wickets with the new ball, and that's exactly what happened with UCA. They lost their first 3 batsmen with a paltry score of 8 runs in the 4 overs. And that basically handicapped them it did require them to kind of resurrect the chase. And after that, it was, they were always behind the ball. If you look at, the middle order, they probably had to occupy the crease to stop the bleeding. and that basically put them, put pressure on them. And towards the end, it was, they were running out of overs. So even though they were close, they weren't able to kind of cross the line. And I think the top order collapse is something which really badly hurt them. And Thunderbolts again proved most of the analysts wrong. And if you look at the scorecard, Deepak Bhaskaran was a standout bowler for UCA. He was the only one who actually was able to create any pressure. Even though he leaked 7 extras, his bowling figures were pretty economical. 5 overs, 1 made and 16 for 4 with 7 extras. That shows that he was difficult to score, but the extras kind of made his bowling figures look a little moderate. But he was the only one kind of creating the pressure. So all in all, I think Thunderbolts again a nice win, but until now they haven't really faced the cream of DCL. So the last 2 games have been pretty much easy for them. I mean, even though they are new, they haven't really faced the tough opponents. So I would definitely want to see them compete against the the bigger teams to really make a call around their overall strength.
Are we? I think we are running short on time. It's already probably an hour into the show, and I'm going to skip this game in the interest of that. So I'm going to skip the color. I'm just going to say congrats, Thunderbolts and UCA. You guys are killing me.
I think the next one is the Sterling Strikers in Punjab. We did the Indus and Safaris, right?
No, we did not do. No, we haven't. You were going to. You were starting on it, and I said, "Can we do it in this order?"
Okay. Yep. So yeah, so the Indus Safaris game is pretty much the way the week has gone. A lot of captains experimenting with their bowlers, experimenting with the team, their bench strength, and in this Indus lineup, it was great to see all the veterans, all the Buddhas as we call. But some of them are really good peers of ours, are really good friends of mine. Azim, Nilesh, Raj Sehgal, all those people who have their one leg in the coffin kind of come up and play. And I mean,
that's harsh.
I know. I'm pretty sure they would not mind it. We are good buddies with them. But it was really a tale of 2 generations. You at one side you had Azim and Nilesh both performing. Azim picking up 2-3 wickets, Nilesh contributing with the bat, and then you had Vikram Sehgal, who is the son of Raj Sehgal. He's probably the youngest in DCL currently. And he top scored with 24. So it was really heartening to see in this Thunder scorecard, pretty much covering the 2 generations of players that they have in their kitty. Safaris had a chance, I would say, very close to getting Indus Thunders worrying. And I think probably Indus Thunders took my advice too literally. Last time I remember on the show, I told them this is the best time to take a vacation, and probably you saw a lot of their players missing, and Sandeep would be very relieved to see the 4 points, if not the 5 points, but at least getting a win in the kitty.
Parthiv, I hate Venkat Kolla, I hate Tanuj, I hate Gino, I hate Nadeem Khan, because all these guys, they are killing me. All right, every week I make a prediction, these guys go and prove me wrong. So I hate all of these guys. Now everybody knows that I really don't hate them. I have never met Venkat Kolla, for the record. So realistically, I can't hate him. But I'm just saying, I say something and these guys throw mud on my face. So I'm not really enjoying it too much. But here is the thing. I had this 1 is greater than 0 theory when I predicted Safaris to win the previous week. And what do? They get out for 24 or 25 or 26 runs. You get my point? And here they come and play against Indus Thunders. This was the performance I was looking for the previous week. If they had got out 25 or 26 against Indus Thunders, I wouldn't have bothered a bit. But this was the kind of performance I was expecting the previous week. I did not get it. It was like a time lapse, and they came up for this game and they showed up. But do any of you guys know the meaning of the word palindrome? Anybody?
Palindrome.
Palindrome, P-A-L-I-N-D-R-O-M-E.
The word
Yep.
stats the same backwards, right?
Exactly. So a word like radar or a word like kayak
Malayalam.
or a
Right.
Malayalam, that's right.
Malayalam.
The
There you go.
Indian language, Malayalam is front or back, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And the word madam is a palindrome. So if you look at the Indus scorecard, that's what they decided. They'll do a palindrome. They didn't care, the people who were coming at the last decided to open the innings or, come up the order. You had Azimuddin Syed at number 2. A position probably where Virat Kohli comes into bat, maybe in the Test cricket. And, you had Vijay Verma. Well, I've seen Vijay Verma go up and down the order. Sometimes I've seen him come at number 11, and I've seen him also come at number 1. So in this game, he was at number 1. But that's exactly what they did. They did a lot of experimentation. But in the process of experimentation, they lost 1 point. And I remember talking to Parthiv, and Parthiv was like, wait if they lose, and I am going to roast them, And I was thinking, well, if Indus loses this game, I'm going to be doing a lot of thunder barbecue, thunder tandoori, and thunder ice cream to anybody and everybody who wants the stuff in the league, because, they had no business dropping that bonus point, all right? This can probably come back to hurt you when the season ends, because your seedings, there will be some teams who are all getting all their bonus points, and sometimes your seeding can go depending on what that one bonus point does. And I remember last week when we were playing Canton 11, they were going great guns, around 60, they were 12 over 60 runs. And I remember placing a call to Satya and saying, Satya, do not take the game lightly. The bonus point is 113. And you need to stop them before 113. I don't care what you do. They should not cross 113. And that's what a good team is supposed to do. No matter what it is, you should know the bonus point. Now, I do not know how many people need the cheat sheet to look at the bonus point. But when I was skipper, or even now you ask me, I can calculate the bonus point right in my head without no cheat sheet, nothing. I can just look at the scorecard. It doesn't matter whether it's 25 overs, 24 overs, 23 overs. I can just calculate and tell you what the bonus point should be. So I called Satya and said, this is what it is. We are not giving them the bonus point. And guess what? Javed didn't even have that bonus point right. He thought if he batted 24 overs, he's going to get the bonus point. But that's not the case. You need to understand that formula pretty good. But anyway, coming back to the Thunders, I thought that I was not that impressed. In my personal ranking, I am dropping them from the number 1 spot, and I'm moving GLCC to my personal number 1 spot, because you know what? A top team has to take care of business. You can't drop a bonus point. Anytime you get a bonus point, you won the game by a big margin. That's what the bonus point is for. So congrats to Venkat Kolla and the Safaris for getting a bonus point from the defending champion. That is not an easy task. I don't care what team they had. You get my point. So let's give them credit for that.
All right. I think the next game we had was Punjab Warriors and the Sterling Strikers. This game is still baffles me, and I guess the balle, which we were all talking about, the hard-hitting Punjab Warriors, only lasted for so long. We talked about Punjab Warriors, and I was really looking forward for this game, because I thought if they win this, they definitely will announce themselves in DCL. Sterling Strikers bowling attack, as we know, led by Raza Ali, is not that easy to score runs with, and they had a chance. They had a chance to get Sterling Strikers out. They had, if you look at the scorecard, Sterling Strikers was struggling at seven down for 26 runs, and from there to score 90 odd and playing the entire 25 overs is just unbelievable. Like either the batting order was reversed, or Syed Ahmed and Syed Ishraq either are they did a Kumble Srinath thing, which they did against Aussies in Bangalore, where they just basically rescued the game out of nothing. So either one of the two happened, and Sterling Strikers just got back in the game. And once they got back in the game, the momentum kind of shifted. Once you end the game in that note, you tend to kind of have your bowling attack also kind of pumped up, and that's exactly what happened. Punjab Warriors, when they came back, they were blown away. If you look at the scorecard, it looks like a telephone number. It's all single digits except for Gurdeep Singh, who managed paltry 12. But they never looked into the chase. 16 overs, they played 45. They were just trying to get bat to ball. I feel none of the batsmen really had any kind of work in the middle, and I definitely feel Punjab Warriors need to change my opinion of a one-hit wonder if they really want to be on my favorite list. So I'll be looking forward to the next game against Glads. Let's see if the Sardars can get the better of the Glads. I know Glads have a Sardar too, so let's see the battle of Sardar. Let's see what happens then.
Arthur, Punjab Warriors were doing too much balle balle. They had reduced, as you rightly said, Sterling strikers for 26 for 7. And these balle balle guys were doing too much balle balle. Otherwise, I don't know how you can explain for the fact that you went from 26 for 7 to 95 for 8. That only thing I can think of is they let them off the hook, Parthiv. They let them off the hook. I picked
Absolutely.
Punjab Warriors, and what did they do? They did Zippo, they did Zilch, they did Shunya, absolutely nothing. Instead of going and doing playing cricket, they were doing balle balle. And the next thing I know, Ehsan Ansari is sending me a balle balle video of Raza Ali doing balle balle. Man, I just couldn't stand it. I have to see Raza Ali doing balle balle instead of seeing these Sardars doing balle balle. Come on, man, what is DCL coming to? This is absolutely not fair. Okay, they let them off the hook, Parthiv. They let them off the hook. They had them on the floor and they let them off the hook. What are these guys thinking? They can't do that, man. They're killing me. These Warrior boys, they killed me. I was 26 for 7. I was rejoicing. And guess what? I got schooled. Parthiv. That's what it is. I'm pissed at these guys for letting me down. And then, if they had got them for 30 runs, even if they scored only 45, they would have got the bonus point. But guess what? Balle balle was more important than cricket. And that will not win you games. Take it away, Parthiv. Take it away. I'm done with these guys.
If you just want to succinctly sum up what Viju said, because of the predictions we all made, right? Sadde balle baj gaye. That's what happened.
Hurry it up, guys. Hurry it up. We are running out of time.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that these Punjab Warriors are listening to you for the next week and they are preparing with the dole and Senai and everything for you, Viju, with the Glads game coming up.
Okay, let's see.
All right.
Next game, GLCC and Micah. Again, I don't think we need to really go into details. Clinical performance by GLCC. 150-run win the previous week with a 9-wicket win. Absolutely, they top the charts. GLCC for me, even pre-tournament, they have been favorites, and they still justify their number 1 ranking coming into the third week. They've been on song with bowling, batting, everybody kind of contributing. Satish Tyagi was on song, completely decimated Micah for a paltry score. And after that, 56 with the kind of batting attack which GLCC has, it was, a walk in the park. So definitely GLCC look into going into this break. I think they have a break, but after that is the mother of all showcase game of the week. So that is something which we all will be, and kind of a dress rehearsal, I would say, for the semi. So that's something which I'm looking forward to.
Parthiv, I was very happy when I saw the scorecard on this game. Can you tell me the reason why I was very happy?
Let me see.
Why was I very happy when I saw the scorecard? Or when the game opened? I'll tell you why. Because we are out of time. I'll tell you why. Micah won the toss. Micah elected to bat. And I said, oh my goodness, Micah elected to bat. The Glads record is safe for one more week. For one more week, the Glads record is safe. I felt if GLCC bats first, the 300 runs were on the sky. I thought the Glads record was gone. Toast, milk toast, baby. But when Micah won the toss, thankfully, Micah had enough common sense to say, we don't want to go into the wrong end of the DCL record books. Let's go and bat first and prevent that ignominious ending kind of a thing. So, yeah, other than that, I have nothing else to say. I was very happy that GLCC didn't get to break the Glads record. I felt it was bound to break. this year, but we survived for at least for one more week. So let's move on.
All right. Next one is the Pokhari's MCC Miles game. Abhi, do you want to go with this? I'll let you kind of analyze this.
Sure.
He didn't do anything. Poor man didn't do anything, man. Don't ask him. What did he do?
Well, at least let me talk about the game then. That's the least I could do about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you observed really well from outside from the dugout. So,
In other words, he was the official reporter for the game.
Well, the official reporter wasn't in the dugout; he was at long on. But yeah, no, this was a pretty clinical win in our regard. Although, yes, we did mess up. The reason I say mess up is because we had them on the mat at about 30 for 7. So we did something similar to what a team did, I think, a couple of games back we were discussing. And then, but I have to give credit to Rahul Chenna. It's everybody else in their batting lineup, and they have some big hitters. Sanjay pretty much won the game single-handedly for them against us the last time we faced each other. But their hitters like Brahma or Venkat or Arun Dinakaran or Sanjay for that matter, they all seemed very circumspect. There wasn't much initiative shown, and the Pokhari's bowlers, I think, did a phenomenal job of picking wickets in regularly, and we pretty much had them on the mat. But Rahul, absolutely amazing. That was a brilliantly paced innings for the situation he was in when he came that low down. He pretty much did a fantastic job of both anchoring the innings as well as moving the score, which is not an easy balance to achieve. So full credit to him. Didn't miss one bad ball, but at the same time was careful enough to neither get himself nor his partner out, which one of their other star batsmen did. So all in all, I'd say it was him that single-handedly carried them to their eventual score of 91. And then when it came for our turn to bat, the Pokhari's turn, Amit, again, he gave us the kind of start that the Pokhari's have only dreamt of for a long time. There was only one word on his mind, attack. And both him and Saran took the attack to the MCC Miles bowlers and never allowed them to settle. And the fact, so 91 can be a tricky target, even in these times of the harder ball. But I think we were always well ahead of the curve throughout the innings, and it was a very well-paced chase. And everybody that went and played with a lot of positivity. So overall, I'd say, yes, good outing for the Pokhari's, but definitely something to watch out for. If no offense to MCC Miles, but if we let them recover from 30 odd for 7 to an eventual score of 91, heaven help us, where with against stronger teams that will have more than one Rahul in their ranks who can take the game away. So that's something for the Pokhari's bowlers and the think tank to consider.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a worrying factor with Sanjay, like 2 out of 2 games. I think if the first one he had a duck, this one I think he scored a paltry 1. So it definitely is a worrying sign. If I am the MCC Miles captain, Ram Saladi would be having sleepless nights. His ace is not yet running, and that's one of the reasons MCC Miles haven't hit any points yet. So I would say that is definitely one of the things that MCC Miles needs to work on, is how do you get Sanjay back? Probably get him up the order. He's still way down in the middle. Probably get him up in the order, get him some more confidence.
Yep.
Parthiv, do you know what is grapes basketball?
What is it?
Grapes. You know grapes,
No.
right? The fruit grapes. Grapes basketball. Do you know what it is?
No idea.
You don't know. No idea. It's a case where one person opens his mouth and keeps his mouth open, and I take grapes and start putting and try to see if I can land the grapes in this thing. Now I want you to keep that thought. I want you to keep that thought in the back of your mind, because I'm going to come back to it and tie this whole thing up. Parthiv, I want to give you a secret. I'm building an alien. All right, I'm building an alien, and this alien project is top secret, baby. Not even NASA. Not even NASA knows anything about it. The alien is almost complete. The alien needs only one thing. I need a brain to put in it, and this is where my friend Avinash is going to come in. Avi, please get me Ravi Narala's alien brain. so that I can take Ravi Nala's alien brain and put it into this alien project so that I can build an alien which nobody in this world has ever been able to do, because I cannot understand Ravi Nala's alien brain thinking. All right, I have no idea what the man is thinking. I have seen this in DCL finals where Avinash Raghu is probably their most consistent batsman. Up till semi-finals, he has been going up the order and he's been performing game in and game out. Come to the finals and Ravi Narala will come up. Avi, we need you. We need you to shepherd the tail. I want you to hold the tail up and hold the tail end. And I'm going to send somebody else who has never tried opening. I'm going to send him opening. And the next thing you know, Indus Thunders take the championship and walk away. All right? That's what is going on here. I see Avinash Raghu. Oh, if it was just Avinash Raghu, I could have forgiven. Prasanna Venkatesh. He comes. He watches the game. He feels. He gets into the dugout. He gets into the car. And he goes back. Well, it's not just these two guys. I have Ranjit Palamiswamy, the vice captain. He has also come and done absolutely nothing. Nothing, baby, nothing. Nada, zippo, zilch. These three guys, they told their wives, we are going for an all-important game. And if their wives asked them, what in the world did you do? I went and ate grapes and I came back. And grapes basketball was being passed by. Our friend Ravi Narala was shooting these grapes basketball into these three guys. These three guys have eaten enough grapes for the entire year in one game. That's what these three guys did. Now tell me, Rashid feeds me peanuts. Ravi Narala feeds me grapes. These two guys, I'm telling you, they're killing me, man. They're killing me. Parthiv, please take it away. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one way you've analyzed it. I think another way I could see is like the bench strength. I mean, if Avi, Prasanna, Ranjit haven't even batted, I mean, that shows, that there are a lot of people in their ranks who they feel they can win the game. So
Parthiv, try explaining that to their wives with whom they did not spend that 5-6 hours and say that I was going to strengthen the bench, baby. I was going there to strengthen the bench. The three of them came and strengthened the bench and went back. Well, that must be a very solid bench, huh? I want to sit on that bench.
Yeah. All right, I think the last game of the week was the Rising Stars against MI Rangers. Rising Stars, for some reason, this is another team which has been with DCL with so long, but it doesn't justify the name. They haven't really risen to the occasion. Like SSK, like Pokris, for example, even Punjab Warriors, even Sterling Strikers, who are formerly FHCC, they have gone up a level, over a period of time. They've, put in the performances, but Rising Stars, I don't see them, change anything or haven't really been in that mold where they've kind of started to build upon things. And they've, in this case, they made a mess of things. They won the toss, single digit scores. If you look at the scores, you never really were in the game. Again, another team which I feel has been in that old DCL mold where occupying the crease, playing the 50 overs, 25 overs is the motto. Everybody is at under 50% strike rate. I mean, that's not going to work in this new DCL. Par scores are 100 plus, and the sooner Rising Stars realizes this, the sooner they're going to start working. And luckily, they have an easier game next week, and hopefully they can brush some things up. They have a game against Micah, and this is a good chance for them to get on board. A loss here, and they can wish their chances of playoffs goodbye. They are already in Pool C, which is, we all know, is a tough group. So another loss here, and they are out of it. So on the other hand, like we talked about MI Rangers, it's Abhilash all the way, and he actually made the difference. We all predicted with Abhilash in the team, MI Rangers would definitely have the edge, and he actually did that. 4 overs, 5 wickets for 10 runs. Completely got Rising Stars off the mat, and then after that, it was an easy chase, just losing a couple of wickets in the chase, and getting the chase all but done. So easy win after all. But I definitely feel Rising Stars need to, rise to the occasion.
Well, Parthiv, in the interest of time, I'm going to pass on this game because we are just out of time. Almost 1.5 hours we have spent on just the game analysis. We probably have to do that in 45 minutes to an hour. But I'm going to skip on it. Congrats, Abhilash. Fantastic game. Great player performing at his peak. So let's move on to the next segment.
Well, thank you very much for that, Parthiv and Viju. Yes, it does take a lot of effort to analyze all these games. So kudos to you guys as always. And at this point in time, I'd like to take a few moments to welcome our guests from the showcase game of this coming weekend. Satish Bellamkonda, who's the captain of the Legends cricket team, and Rashid Malik of Team Brownstown. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for sparing the time and bearing with us and being with us here so patiently. We promise we will bring you on soon as we shine the spotlight on what promises to be probably the most exciting game of this coming weekend. So moving on. Yeah, go ahead.
Just saying hi to Rashid and to Satish. Happy to see them.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having us on that. At least having seeing Viju face to face after a long time and talking to him.
That's lovely.
All right.
And speaking of Viju, I believe, so one of the aspects of this show is we hope to bring you something out of the box and exciting and to ponder upon or chew upon every week as best as we can. And looks like this week we certainly do have some breaking news for you. So without further ado, Viju, what bombshell are you planning to drop on us this weekend?
Not a bomb. It's not a bombshell. In fact, one of the culprits is right there sitting along with us. All right. It's a breaking investigation, and I can see Rashid smiling away to glory. And I think he knows what is coming. All right, because he's a smart guy. And even before I open my mouth, I know he knows what I know, and I know what he knows. All right. So let me explain this Manpreet Singh situation. This is just to put things into perspective. And there is a reason why I did not bring this up in last show. In fact, I brought it up only in this show. Manpreet Singh, a few years ago, I don't know, eight years ago or something, was on the GLCC roster, and then he ended up also playing for Megabytes. It became a big hue and cry. And after that, there was an official investigation, and it was found that Manpreet Singh played for GLCC, although it was a rained out game, and he was on their roster and he was there at the ground and things like that. Anyway, long story short, that game was awarded to the opponents, all right, because DCL has a very clear rule that you cannot play for two teams in the same season. Sure. And in the interest of the integrity of the league, you have to implement that rule. It's as simple as that. If you play for one team, you're stuck with them for that season. Simple as that. Don't go and play for a second team. If you play for the second team, it's the second team who is going to get impacted. Obviously, the first team has nothing to do with it. The second team skipper should have known better. So anyway, coming a long story short, what happened is it was the Eagles, our Yogi's team. They plead, but Gopi Chebiam was the captain at that time. He asked for the appropriate remedy, and the appropriate remedy was that even though Megabytes won the game with bonus, Eagles were given the victory. And then there is a DCL rule which says that whatever is your best game, that score is going to be taken and substituted in that game. In other words, if you had a game where you scored 250 runs and your opponent scored only 50 runs, you're going to take those figures and you would give 250 runs to Eagles and 50 runs to Megabytes. So the net run rate also boosts up like anything. So that, and then you get the 5 points, because obviously you got 5 points in that game. If you got only 4 points, you got only 4 points. But whatever is your best game, you take the best game. And if you're in your best game, if you got a bonus, you got a bonus. So that is the rule. Now let's leave that rule aside. That's it's clearly laid in the rule book. Now we played a game against GLCC in Indus, and again you have the super sub rule, wherein any 11 can bat and any 11 can bowl. You can declare up to 12 players. And so we went there, we played against GLCC, we batted first, we put on a big total. And then when GLCC came to bat, you know, when I see GLCC, I forget about everything. I forgot to say who was the 12th man, and all 12 of us went and fielded. Somewhere in the 12th over, the GLCC guys figured out, man, there is no open gaps. Everybody Anywhere you hit, there is a fielder. I found out there were 12 of us. That's when I realized, oh, boo-boo, and so they stopped the game there, and then they wanted the full points, and Kamal awarded them the full points. We offered to replay the game. GLCC did not want to replay the game. They just wanted the win. All right, go and take the win. We did beat them in the finals. We just came back with more vengeance and just finished that game off. But if you ask me, if I had the same chance, I would have played it, because only if I play a good team will I know how good is my strength when I go into the playoffs. But that, I just wanted to throw those two scenarios out. Again, that was not in DCL, that was in FCL. Now, in DCL, if you look at the rule book, there is no rule which says what we should do if 12 players play, right? If 12 players play, what happens? Let's say the same thing which Lads did, where all 12 players fielded. What are you going to do? Or if you did something else, what are you going to do? And so last week, if you remember, Avi, you asked a question to Satya. Satya, are you saying 12 players played for Brownstown? All right. But at that time, I was busy applying this bull droppings to my face. You get my point? So I was not paying much attention to, I was only hearing that 12 players played. And I didn't pay much attention to it because I was busy applying this mascara of bull dropping on my face that I forgot. I just paid attention, and then Parthiv came and gave an explanation. No. Yeah, there are 12 players, but it's a glitch in the scorecard. It's a glitch in the scorecard. It's not actually 12 players played. And if you really look at it, Farhan Patel was 0 of 0 balls. So it's just a glitch. I paid attention to it after I wiped off all the bull droppings after the show. But before the show was over, I went and looked at the scorecard. And I saw the scorecard, and immediately I realized there is something wrong here. All right. And then I could figure out what exactly is wrong here. So at this point, I have not told Parthiv Mehta, I have not told Satya Velayutham, and I have not told you what is the investigation. You guys asked me, what is the investigation? And I said, I cannot reveal the investigation. And you'll ask me, why did you not reveal the investigation the previous week? There is a reason for that. Because if I revealed it on Wednesday, the Bulls could file an official complaint. And I did not want my analysis to be the basis for being an official complaint. You have a rule book rule which says that by Thursday, you should have filed an official complaint. Otherwise, rest in peace. In other words, the statute of limitations ends on a Thursday following the day on which the game was played. You get my point? You play on Saturday. Thursday is the final day by which you should file an official complaint. And I have been in the committee, and I hated these official complaints. You have to do an investigation. And for the record, in all my 18 years, I never filed one official complaint against anybody. If I ever had a problem, I took my pen and wrote it. That's it. I didn't care about filing official complaints or any of those things. But I didn't want the investigation to lead to an official complaint, creating headache for Parthiv, Satya, and the rest of the DCL committee. I thought, let it go. And as luck was going to have it, we were having the showcase game of the week. And it is, guess what? 3 votes went for Brownstown versus Legends. I couldn't have planned it any better. And I thought, let us pull this up and we'll ask the king of Brownstown what in the world was going on. And I am seeing his smile. He knows where I am going in. Satya, can you do me a favor and bring up the Brownstown versus Bulls games scorecard? I want everybody to see what is going on. At this point, the statute of limitations has run out. So there is no remedy for the Bulls.
Satish has already made a mental note to make sure he keeps an eye on
That's fine, But, all right, let's scroll down. All right, show me the scorecard. All right, you see this? Irfan Syed, Mujahid 2, Farhan Patel 3, Ofir Masi 4, Kamran 5, Shera 6, Umer 7, Yasir 8, Shehzad 9, Brehan Bukhari 10, Haider Bhatti 11, Rashid Malik 12. All right. Somehow there is a glitch in the scorecard where these 2 guys, Farhan and Ofir, I believe, came after Rashid. Somehow the scorecard always moves them to 1 down spot and 2 down spot. But if you look at it, as Parthiv correctly identified, Farhan Patel is 0 out of 0 balls, which tells me that, again, nothing wrong there. It is Ofir Masi who is not the last man not out. It's 10 wickets. And Farhan Patel is the 11th. Okay, so there are 12 people here. And there's Ofir is number 11 and Farhan is number 12. Satya, scroll down a little down. And you will see did not bat Mohammad Saad. That tells me that is player number 13. If you're Rashid, I want to ask this question. How do you declare 13 players for a game? Now, Satya, can you go to the Brownstown bowling scorecard? Brownstown bowling scorecard, Farhan Patel, he bowled. Mohammad Saad, he bowled. That means all 13 players took part in the game. Isn't that what happened? 13 players have played in some way. How in the world do you have a super sub and 13 players played the game? There were 13 players on the ground. I don't know who was sitting out where, but 13 players have played. Okay, they have 11 of them have batted, and the 12th man was Farhan Patel, who was 0 out of 0 balls. Mohammad Saad did not bat, but Mohammad Saad and Farhan Patel bowled. How is that possible? There's only one super sub which is allowed. So now, if you're a committee and if you're a smart committee, you need to solve this problem and nick this problem in the bud. I think what is not happening is the DCL umpires are not on top of the game. They are not collecting probably the declaration sheet. They need to collect the declaration sheet and ask who is the super sub. Okay, or if you want to declare the super sub after the toss is over so that you can fully use the super sub, I have no problems with it. But I think the DCL committee needs to come out with a firm set of rules as to when you declare the super sub, how that super sub is missing. And every time you use the super sub, the captain is responsible to let the umpires know, hey, we are exercising the super sub. Also, they need to cover what happens if 12 players go and field, because that is entirely possible. Some captain is going to forget that, I forgot to tell which person should sit out in the dugout, and all 12 people went and fielded. Now you have a mess on your hands where one team realizes after the game is over. Luckily for the Bulls won the game. But what happens if Bulls lost the game? If Bulls lost the game, now they would be screaming bloody murder. You would have Tanuj and Gino saying, man, we got robbed. 13 players played against us. But you did not file an official complaint. The official complaint deadline was Thursday. And now you cannot file an official complaint. The complaint window is gone. It's over. Even if you wanted to get the best run rate of the season, you really can't do. But more importantly, the DCL rulebook doesn't even have a rule which addresses this. So all I'm saying is the DCL committee needs to address this issue as soon as possible, fix the glitch in the rule book wherein you need to address this issue. What happens if 12 players field? You need to address the issue. What happens if 13 players? Obviously, the scorecard allows 13 players to be declared and any 13 to come and bat and bowl as the Brownstown this thing. But now since we have Rashid on this thing, we can ask Rashid, what in the world happened, brother Rashid? How did you declare 13 players for this game? How is that possible? You're one of the smartest guys in DCL. How did you allow this boo-boo to take place? And now you've been caught red-handed on national television. Please tell us.
Oh, Viju, if I tell you that, then that's revealing the secrets. I cannot do that,
13 is a lucky number for you, maybe, Rashid?
Well, actually, it is. It is a lucky number for me. So, anyways, no, I think Viju, I know what you're talking about, but I think what I see this is more like a scorecard glitch still, because we had no intention to add a 13th player. So what happened here is, when we were bowling, I think somehow our opponents, when they were scoring, they were able to add Shahzad when Shahzad came to bowl. I think that's where they somehow figured out to put Saad, and I do not know how they did that. Because we did not declare 13. You cannot do it. I mean, you can try it. You cannot declare 13 in the playing 11. So it can only happen when the opponent picks the bowler. When they are doing the scoring, when they ask for the name of the bowler, somehow they were able to pick it. And I'm not that savvy. So don't give me that much credit, Viju.
Are you saying Mohammad Saad did not play?
No, not at all.
Oh, he did not play at all.
Nope. He was
okay.
No, he did not.
But I'm surprised
you're confusing with Mohammad Saad with actually Saad Haider. Saad Haider is the guy. Mohammad Saad just played one game last year with us. He's not even on my roster this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But anyway, still the question of 12 players going and fielding can happen later on in DCL because
absolutely,
every team
and it happened. Guess what? It happened in my game once between us and Indus. Okay.
Okay.
And Indus were actually left with the with the sandbag because we were fielding with 12, and finally they pointed out. And DCL, there is a rule, by the way. The rule says if you do point out, whatever is done at the time, and that ball will be declared dead ball, which when you point it out. That's the rule now.
Where is that rule? I haven't seen that rule.
No, I think it's in one of the clarification email once I saw. I
okay,
remember,
it's not there in the rule book, but I think
it's probably missing from the rule book. It's one of the clarification emails, because I think we did talk about that in one of our
because this 12-player business only came into effect in 2019. Yeah, that's why that's why I mean, obviously I was not there at that time, but I'm saying is it came out only in 2019. So it's not there in the rule book. I've read through the rule book and I haven't seen it in the rule book where it says, oh, you point out. But I think this is something which the committee should address. And we have two committee members, Satya and Parthiv. They can
But I agree. I totally agree with you. This should be addressed. It should be put it in writing, so to avoid any confusion down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll definitely take it back. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I know it might have been giving you, nightmares how the hell this happened. Trust me, it is really, Parthiv was right. It was an error.
And I'm surprised an app lets the opposition pick a player that is not even allegedly in your roster. I'm a bit surprised that happened.
No, he's in the roster, but he wasn't in the playing 11. I mean, he was in the roster because he was part of my team last year. He's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even then, that's a bit weird.
But even then,
you selected, right?
Yeah, I mean, you should allow only 12 players to be selected no matter what. At the beginning of the game, you select 12 players, and those 12 players are the only option which should be available to the opposing skipper.
That's what I would think, right? But it happened. So I think there is some.
It's glitch.
Right.
It's like, you don't need to select a playing 12 beginning of the game. You can start the game and then you can pick the players from the complete roster.
Exactly.
Yes, that is true.
I can tell you, last year when we weren't scoring online, we always did the paper, our score sheet, and our opponent always picked us from our roster. So there is a way to do that. So.
Well, then I think this is a question which Parthiv has to raise with Venkat Vadnala, saying that Vadnala, you need to address this with the makers, with cricket clubs, saying that, you have to declare the playing 12 before the game starts, before a single ball is bowled, so that the opposing captain can only pick from that 12. But certainly some glitches, some work for the committee to do.
All right, case resolved. Case closed.
All right, good.
By the way,
good.
Thanks for not bringing up before Thursday. Otherwise, there would have been another.
No. When I saw this, I said there is no way I'm bringing this up before Thursday, because you know what? It's going to open a new can of worms, and the last thing we want to do is open up a can of worms.
And I guess I understand the onus has to be on the opponent and the opposition.
It's the team's responsibility. And trust me, Gino, James, Tanuj, Banu Prakash Murthy, they have been in this business for a long time. They are some very smart guys, and if they don't figure it out, it's okay. You can live with 12 players fielding. It doesn't matter to me.
By the way, even with our 12 players fielding, our fielding would have still been pathetic. So it doesn't matter.
Well, good sleuthing, Viju, and good job, Rashid, for quite artfully presenting your case and defending your team as any captain should. And so, but good job, Viju, on your part to actually go digging into this and to raise the issue at the appropriate time. Well, yes, we do have to keep galloping along. So thank you for that. It was quite an entertaining passage of play, as we would say. And next up, a couple who's been waiting rather patiently with us. The spotlight that we are shining this week is on Team Strikers. Yes, we do have a member from Strikers on our regular panel, but today we also have the pleasure of being joined by a couple who hopefully can shed some light on how his team is shaping up for this season, any additions, any withdrawals, and overall, how do you think are the prospects for your team this season in DCL 2021?
Sure. Thanks, Avi, and thanks all of you for having me today. but it's rather since the show started, it's been entertaining. It's been a little long, but we're still it's good to hear. The masala is back, and it's good to hear that. So, in the interest of time, coming to strikers, right? Since we did not have a DCL last year, from the year before, it's pretty much, if you look at our team, it is we haven't had a lot of new additions, but we have lost a lot of young folks that we got a year before that, I think in 2018. So we used to have people. I mean, we had Ritain, we had Adit, we had Nikhil, we had Shreyas. These are all young folks, and we thought, okay, our time will soon come to just hang up everything and just be, just go and cheer all of these guys on. But then, again, some of them, got lost in their personal lives, understandably so. Some of them moved out of Michigan, and again, core of our team has remained the same. As we all say, the Buddhas are still there. Me, myself, Parthiv, Rahul Chowji is there, Rahul Nikam's there, Parag's there, and along with some new folks. I mean, we have the biggest addition that we have is, as you know, is Binod Singh this year. But we already talked at length about Binod, how great of a baller he is, one of the top 3 ever. So we're excited to have him, but other than Binod, we talked about Rahul Pawar. He is he's a pace baller, and it's really a great hitter, and he showed that in the first game. And we're hoping to have him do that in as many games as possible, because traditionally we have lacked that firepower to hit sixes, hit boundaries, and with the batting has always been our Achilles heel historically. What we have done a good job of reaching playoffs most of the years. I think in the history we have only not reached playoffs once. We've been a good pre-quarters teams, but then we just fall off after that. Right? So what our first goal is, again, the same, just like any other team. We want to make the playoffs. We want to go into pre-quarters, and not having the greatest of starts to this season, we're hoping to pick it back up again in the second week, which is again going to be the toughest test so far against KRCC. But again, we have some folks. But then we're missing a couple of guys who are going to be like Vivek and Shreyas, who has moved out, and Vivek's not available for a couple of weeks. It is going to be tricky for Parthiv to fill the right balance for us to fill the right balance of good bowling and batting, and to go against the best team. I think arguably the best team in our group in week number 2. Our group number 2 is really, we have 3 top teams, and then pretty much everyone else is almost at the same level. I think that we are expecting really, really, really competitive games week in and week out, and we're hoping to. And it's fun to have these, right? Nobody wants one or the other way. Nobody wants blowouts. Nobody wants an easy win. We all want the competitive game. So hoping for all of that, competitive games throughout the season, and see how it goes.
That's very nicely described, Kapil. I think that's a great way to decide. And so Bipin, I believe, right, is the person that's
Binod.
Binod, sorry, my apologies. So I'm surprised a person with that stellar record is someone. I'm not sure how many of, at least maybe I haven't probably been long enough in the league. Right? It's only been about 5 years, and I don't know how much he's played. But I'm certainly, based on what I've heard, seems like a very exciting player to watch for. How about his availability? Is he committed fully this year?
Yeah, he's only playing DCL, right? He's going to play. So we're hoping to have him at least 8 games, and and we will need him, in almost every game to be there. he's that person, I guess, as a captain. You just hand the ball over to get the key crucial wicket, because as Vijay described, he's got those variations and the control. His control is unbelievable over his bowling. So that's where he really trumps the batsman, really with the control, and really just varying his line and length is awesome. And we will need him for sure to carry the other Buddhas along.
Well, you guys are up against a pretty good opponent this week, so I'm sure this will be a very good field for him to perform.
Absolutely.
And,
Yep, that's it from our side. Anything Parthiv would like to add? Hey, Parthiv, go ahead.
Yeah, I think as Kapil mentioned, we've lost a few players, but this is like, I see this year as a way to kind of, build the team back up. We were, as Kapil mentioned, we were planning an early retirement. I'm already playing USTA, so I'm focusing on my tennis. But coming back to strikers, I had to kind of step up and say, okay, I'm going to regroup the team again. We've lost Braj, which is another major setback as well. He's focused on his USCA, the minor league cricket. So he's planning a kind of making a career in cricket. So we don't want to stop him. We don't want to bring him back and force him to play DCL. So we let him go. But yeah, so I think overall this is definitely a year we are trying to rebuild again. With Binod and some of the other players, get the groove back again. So.
Viju, did you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I just had an observation.
Yeah.
I feel that the striker team, which I always will admire for performing out of their mind, was the 2018 strikers team, when Parthiv and Raj, the cream of strikers, went and played for Raptors. And I believe Parthiv was the captain of Raptors. And Raptors lost in the very first round to Pokhris.
Right.
But strikers, led by Kapil and a bunch of other names which are not your great names, performed game in and game out. And one guy who performed game in and game out was Kapil himself. He, as a skipper, he performed great. I thought as a skipper, he really brought the best out of his team. And I thought it was one of the best captaincy jobs which I have seen in a number of years, because nobody gave that team a chance. And they not only reached the playoffs, it ended up in a 5-over super over in the very first round. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kapil, but it was a 5-over super over. It is there they lost to the Blazers, but it was a fabulous performance. If you if you're neutral like me, where I didn't care who won or lost, it was hard for me to root against strikers, because I said I like Imtiaz and I consider Imtiaz a very honest and good, decent guy. But it was very difficult for me to root against strikers, because I knew on talent-wise they were really going uphill. But here was a bunch of guys playing hard out, and I think it led with the captaincy. And I thought Kapil did a fantastic job as a captain. And I'm glad that he's still on strikers. And I think if Parthiv wants to make something, I think Parthiv should go and consult Kapil and get all the brilliant ideas and try to use them as best as they can. But since we are running on time, I just didn't want to ask any questions. I just wanted to throw that observation out that most people may not realize this, but while Parthiv lost in the and the Raptors lost in the very first round, these guys, even though they lost, they could walk away held high, because it went into a super over. It can't get 5-over super over. It can't get closer than that.
Yeah, very well said, Viju. And I think that's the beauty of this wonderful game that we all play, right? If you're astutely led, then if enough people punch above their weight, you can be more than the sum of your parts. So Kapil and Parthiv, we wish Team Strikers the very best for this season. We definitely look forward to following you, and I'm sure we will as over the course of this season, over multiple episodes of DCL Prime Time.
Thanks.
So moving on, in the interest of time, I suggest that for now we come to the predictions, which will be made by the regular analysts along with our guest from the team spotlight for this week. So Kapil,
yeah.
So it'll be the five of us making the
Yeah.
predictions.
Before we move to the predictions, I think we want to highlight the top shooters.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. My
So
bad.
we missed out last week, but want to kind of recap. Abhishek from GLCC, he definitely was the top shooter from the batting point of view. 89 of just 59 balls, hammering 9 towering sixes. And then Sandeep Guduru, if I'm saying his last name right, from the AR Phantoms team, 5 wickets with a hat trick. So we want to kind of congratulate the top performers for week 1. And for going to the next one, week 2, we had several great performances. So we're going to have 3 instead of the top 2. We have Nikhil Kumar, who we talked about in the Strikers Kings 11 game. He had almost a 200 plus strike rate, hammered and completely decimated Strikers, 56 of just 27 balls with 8 sixes. He hardly ran, to be honest. So he just was standing and delivering. And every hit was, out of the park. The next one is Harish. Again, figures which you can only dream to have. 4 overs, 2 maiden, 3 runs, 6 wickets. Unbelievable. Just completely decimated Hitman. The game was over before even the second inning of our game was starting. The legends were already packing. And then another hat trick this week, Santosh Mutnuru from Troy Hawks, 5 overs, 25 runs and 6 wickets. Congratulations to all of these performers for this week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but before I forget, Satya, next time around, can you move these pictures to the left side and maybe take these analyst predictions or top shooters to the top, so that, because the right picture is getting cut off. Just wanted to make that in the interest of improvement, because right now I feel bad for the person who took the hat trick. His face is not even showing up, at least on my screen.
Great.
All right.
So
All right,
on to the predictions.
Parthiv is still leading. He in fact extended his lead by now. He's leading us by 5 points actually. So
Right. Some catching up to do. And
Yeah,
hopefully we can do that.
I can see him already trying to figure out what to do with his $251.
Well, our predictions that we've made into an exciting game is sponsored by Green Sapling Dinnerware, as eco-friendly dinnerware, as we mentioned the last week, and we are extremely grateful for their generous contribution to this program. And like I mentioned, the predictions, the competition, as we're calling it, is between the 4 regular analysts, the 4 of us. But we do invite our guest of honor, basically from the team spotlight, the captain, to join us just for that week in making the prediction as well. So in the interest of time, I suggest that we just mention which team we think has a better chance of winning a certain game, rather than going into too much detail. Yes, I'm sure we put in some thought into deciding on the teams, but let's just keep that aside as we go forward, at least for this time. Go ahead. So first game, I believe, Southfield Super Kings versus Dynamites. My prediction is I believe the Dynamites have enough in the tank to put it past SSK. Inspiring last week, but still I'm backing Dynamites.
Yes, for me, I think I'll go with the other side. I'm voting for Southfield Super Kings. Based on their performance and based on how they changed, I would definitely go with SSK.
I like to go with Dynamites. They added a couple of people, so I think they could able to get past to SSK easily.
Avi, last week analysts went 6-0 in favor of Patriots. But then I found out that the Patriots guys were feeding people idlis while Lingappan was feeding dosas. And I checked, I like dosas. I found that Lingappan serves an excellent Mysore masala dosa. So it has the right amount of spice to tickle my taste buds. And he has a sambar to go with it, which is like I'm in dosa heaven. So my pick is SSK. To feed me some special Mysore masala dosa for this game.
The look on Rashid's face suggests he's wondering what on earth are idlis and dosas. What are we talking about? Yes, so moving on. Next game, please, Satya. And before we go there, I'd like to point out to the audience You do have the Zoom link mentioned at the top left corner of your screens. Please do feel free to join us after this to voice any comments, opinions, concerns. We would love to hear from you. This is for you, the audience, and we'd love for you to join us.
We just ask the captains.
The analyst.
Yes, Kapil, my apologies. Who do you favor?
I'll go with SSK.
With SSK, okay, great. So 3-2 in favor of SSK. Let's see if they live up to the billing.
Rashid bhai.
No,
I think we're just keeping it to the 5 of us, Satya.
So, okay, next.
Next is Thunderbolts versus FCC. I'm backing FCC on this one. Oh, I see what you're doing with the pictures now. Okay.
Yeah, it's no. I would go with FCC as well. Venkat Vadanala needs a win badly, and I saw him practice today. The entire squad was there, so.
Wow.
I like to go with FCC, so they should come back strong this game.
Well, Avi, last week, FCC did not step up, the FCC players. FCC promised me a mother of all chicken sandwiches, but when I opened the wrapper, I found that there was only bun and cheese. In other words, instead of giving me a chicken sandwich, they fed me a vegan cheese sandwich, all right? Hopefully this week, they'll give me a world-class chicken sandwich. And for that reason, I'm going to pick FCC for this game.
All right. Kapil?
Kapil?
I am also going to go with FCC. Too much experience, too much talent.
Great.
5-0.
Next up, Dark Horses versus UCA. This one, I believe, will be interesting. I'm going with UCA on this one. I think they have the pluck and the spirit to hopefully get them across the line on this one.
Yeah, my prediction as well is UCA. I feel like they haven't got a win yet, but they were hungry in both the games, so they're very close. So
Right.
I think Dark Horses don't have the batting to actually get them through.
Going with Dark Horses, I think Pankaj have a couple of young guys, so hopefully they could able to win this game.
Avi, on this one, UCA has been killing me in the predictions. I went with them 2 weeks in a row, and I got a big shunya in the win column. And first time you fooled me, okay, too bad. Second time I get fooled by the same team, I say I'm a fool. If I go with the same UCA guys the third time, I'm the biggest fool in the world. And last I checked, I'm not the biggest fool. So I'm going with Dark Horses. I want to ride in the Kentucky Derby, and I'm the jockey on the Dark Horses team, baby. I'm jockeying with the Dark Horses on this one.
All right.
And I'll go with UCA.
Kapil, you said UCA?
Yep.
All right. I am backing Troy Hawks to beat the Safaris. Troy Hawks are a team that I've followed for a while and I really admire, and I believe a win for them is around the corner, and I'm sure that they're going to put it past the Safaris.
Yeah, me too. I think I'll go with Troy Hawks. Safaris are improving, but haven't got it that much that they can beat Troy Hawks yet. So still Troy Hawks for me.
It's going to be a good game. As we saw last week, both teams were fighting hard for their win. So, but still, I go with Troy Hawks. They have more experience than the Safaris.
Avi, after last week's scare, which the Raptors had, I would be a fool to pick against the Troy Hawks. I'm going to the African Safari to see that majestic hawk in full flight. So Troy Hawks for me.
All right.
Troy Hawks for me.
All right. 0 to Troy Hawks. Let's see if they live up to their top billing. So this is Spartans versus Bulls. I'm going to go with Detroit Bulls on this one. I think they have the momentum to carry them over the Spartans.
I'm going to go with Spartans. I saw them play against KRCC. They almost gave KRCC a scare, and I feel like they're going to, get the better of Bulls.
All right.
I'm going with Detroit Bulls. I think they have the momentum after winning the first game. So Gino will be thinking.
Avi, as I said, I hate Gino, I hate Banu Prakash Murthy, I hate Challu, I hate Tanuj, I hate all these guys. They put enough bull droppings on my face. No more bull droppings for me, baby. No more bull droppings. I had enough, guys. Please, I'm picking the Bulls.
Okay, I'll go with Spartans.
Okay. I was about to say it'll be interesting. Well, even from the regular analyst standpoint, let's see if Parthiv still pulls a smart one on all of us on that one. KRCC versus Strikers. My apologies to the two gentlemen present here today. I have a feeling KRCC edge against you guys. I wouldn't mind being proven wrong. Nothing against either team, but KRCC for me.
Yeah, I'm going to pick from an analyst point of view, not from a captain's point of view. So I pick KRCC as well.
Boy, that $251 is speaking big, baby. I thought this week I can gain one on Parthiv.
No, I'm going to use this towards motivating my team. So I'm going to basically hear a lot of things on my WhatsApp. People are going to complain you don't believe in our team winning, but I want to use that towards firing them up.
I take my apology back, Kapil.
It'll be a good game. So it depends on how Kapil and Parthiv is going to take the game. Most probably it'll be Kapil who is going to bat long. And I think, but still KRCC has a big edge. If we can take Maulik and others off and Sagesh and Roni, then they should be good. But still,
Maulik, I'm just going to sledge him and get him out. So don't worry about
it. Before night, I think.
Avi, I don't like picking teams whose star players complain that they have a tennis elbow, and that is the reason why they did not bowl. Okay, for me, if it is a tennis elbow, we had the same situation in the Glad's camp, and we had Jawad who complained to Satya that he had a tennis elbow, and Satya said, no man, you have to bowl. We are counting on you to bowl 5 overs. And he bowled not 1, not 2, not 3. He bowled 4 overs, and he would have bowled a 5th over if it was necessary. And if I was there, I would have read the riot act to Jawad. And after reading my riot act, Jawad's mother would have said, if Jawad doesn't bowl, I am going to bowl tennis elbow or no tennis elbow. So if Parthiv is sitting here and saying, I have tennis elbow and I can't bowl, man, I cannot pick that team. So I'm picking KRCC.
I'll skip this, yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh. And I will reserve my comments on it then. So Blasters versus FCC Agni, I think this one could be a bit of a no-brainer. Ramesh is an astute captain, but I'd still say Blasters on this one.
Yeah, I think this is an easy pick, Blasters all the way.
I'm going to pick Blasters too.
This is pretty easy. Until Hari Parankusam gives me a reason not to blast with the Blasters, I am blasting with the Blasters every week.
Yep. Right. Same with me, Blasters.
All right. Punjab Warriors versus Gladiators. This one will be interesting, if for nothing but pure entertainment value. And I'm going to throw my lot in with my friend here, and I'm going to say Gladiators.
Yes, definitely. I think with the inexperienced Punjab Warrior has and their last week's performance, I think there's no question.
I agree.
Well, Avi, how do you neutralize an army of Sardars in a team? You go out and get the best Sardar and put him on your team. What is that again? And so as far as I'm concerned, Glads have the best Sardar in Detroit on the Glads team. I am rocking with Hardeep Singh, the best Sardar in DCL and in Detroit to blast away this army of Sardars. We will be doing balle balle after this game is over. I do not think the Punjab Warriors are going to stop the Glads Formula One engine. Blasting off, baby.
I just mentioned you have the super Sardar, so so that's Obviously, advantage Gladiators. Sterling Strikers versus AR Phantoms, I believe is the game, and I'm backing Sterling Strikers.
Yeah, I think Sterling Strikers with the performance AR Phantoms have shown yet so far. I don't think they're going to cause a problem to Sterling Strikers.
Sterling Strikers on the roll. I think they'll easily take this game away from.
Yep.
Avi, last I checked, the Phantom is still at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, and he is trying to play cricket out there. This is going to be played on a DCL ground. I'm going with Ehsan Ansari, Raza Ali, and the Sterling Strikers.
Yeah, Sterling Strikers for me too.
This one, if anything, is also interesting. Will be interesting to follow. Despite their dismal performance last week, I'm expecting the Rising Stars to beat the Micas. Even though Mica probably feel that this is their strongest chance to give it back to Viju for all his criticism, but I have a feeling the Rising Stars are not going to let them do that.
Yeah, I think just based on sheer experience, I would go with Rising Stars as well.
Okay.
And yes, you're right. Micah has the best chance to get on the board. If they don't win this, I mean, they are probably shunned to the basement.
Right.
I'm going with Micah. Just because I've never seen a Rising Star playing a great game against any opponents, but just I'm guessing Micah to win the game.
The Rising Stars may not have any international stars on their team, and the Mica Stars claim they are international stars. But on this one, I am going with the local stars to sink the international stars. So the Rising Stars will be rising, and the international stars will be sinking.
All right, Kapil.
Rising Stars for me.
Okay. Pokeries versus Canton 11. I'm going to say Pokeries. I'm hoping we don't do the kind of screw up that we did in letting the opposition get away, but I'm still backing our Pokeries on this one.
Yeah, I would back Pokeries as well, but I guess the reason is it has a slight edge. Canton 11 definitely is going to be tough to crack. I don't think it's going to be a straight walkover for Pokeries, but I definitely feel Pokeries have the edge.
Right.
So after playing against Canton 11, I think Pokeries cannot take their bowling easily. They have that good left arm pace bowler initially, Shivam. The guy has to be seen. So he has a good pace. He also plays with me in a couple of other leagues. So Pokeries cannot take it light. Just I'm going with Pokeries because even without Prasanna, Avi, and Ranjit batting, they have a deep batting lineup up to 6 or 7. So Satish is coming at 6. It adds more value to them. So I'm still going with Pokeries.
Parthiv, I'll need you to finish a Hindi dialogue for me because my Hindi is not that great. I understand it, but it's better not that I say too much in Hindi. But anyway, as much as I love Javed and Canton 11, and as surely as the sun rises in the east, I am very confident in the alien brain coming with something brilliantly new for this game. So much so that Javed will be so confused as to what is going in the game. And finally, my alien brain will be telling to Javed, "Hum tumhe itna ched denge ki confuse ho jaoge." What was the rest of the line? Please complete that.
Kahan se saans le aur kahan se paade.
Yes, thank you very much for finishing that line. I am going with my favorite alien brain on this one, baby. Maaf kar dena, Javed bhai. Because if I don't go with the confusion master, the confusion king, Ravi Narala, on this one, I will be so confused next week that I won't know what to say or what not to say. So for my own sanity, please let me stay with the confusion master on this one. Javed, please forgive me.
The only thing is, एक बार उन्होंने decide कर लिया तो वो भी अपनी नहीं सुनते तो. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Definitely an exciting. And now, last but certainly not the least, we come to our showcase game of the week, the one for which we've all been waiting for and for which these two fine gentlemen have been waiting for as well. We'd like to bring in now Rashid Malik and Satish Belamkonda to discuss the showcase game of the week, Team Legends versus Team Brownstown, which promises to be an absolute cracker.
Don't we have to do the prediction on this one first?
Yes, absolutely. And I personally feel that the Legends have the upper hand on this one.
Yes, my vote is again going for Legends. Brownstown haven't disappointed me in the predictions, and I hope they continue to do that. But frankly speaking, I think it's going to be Mansab versus Harish. It's going to be the battle of the two young fast bowlers. I'm hoping, and I don't know whether Satish can reveal, but I'm hoping Harish is playing. And if he is, then I'm definitely coming to watch this game.
This game going to be really interesting, but I've seen Legends, when there is a really good game, they go into shell. They don't bat all the way. And we know on the other hand, the Brownstown always comes up with a different plan when there is a good team comes. But small teams, yes, they'll take it light. They fail, but if there is a good team, I think they will come back. So these things, I go to Brownstown. So yeah, I suggest Satish not to be in the shell, to go on bat fully if they want to win this game.
Looks like that loss which Rashid and Brownstown inflicted on Satya and Glads. Satya is in no hurry to forget that loss. Okay, he has managed to have faith in Rashid and Brownstown for 3 weeks in a row. As far as I'm concerned, Legends have a high-tech V6 petrol engine which runs on high-octane petrol. For 2 weeks in a row, I had hopped on that Brownstown double-decker bus. And for 2 weeks in a row, I've been eating only peanuts and more peanuts and more peanuts. Last week, my good friend Yogesh said, I hope, Vijubhai, Rashid will not feed you peanuts this week. Guess what? I got fed peanuts once more. He said, Vijubhai, check your cholesterol. Don't eat so many peanuts. But if I am only getting peanuts, what do I do? Rashid has fed me so many peanuts, Parthiv, that now I am looking like a peanut. I am looking like a peanut because I've been eating so many peanuts. Okay, that's exactly what he said. First week I said, man, Brownstown has a diesel engine which will, that the diesel Lamborghini is going to roar. And the next thing you know, the Bulls did a number on them and there was no diesel and the Bulls ramped home. Last week I said, Rashid has invented a new diesel engine that runs on water. Yeah, water was there in abundance, but on game day, I found out on the hard way that this diesel engine is not a diesel engine. It is a charcoal engine. Okay, I cannot drive a charcoal engine, guys. I cannot drive a charcoal engine. I cannot drive a charcoal engine to the checkered flag, even if I am Ayrton Senna or Michael Schumacher or Lewis Hamilton. All those three guys cannot drive a charcoal engine to the checkered flag. So for legends, and more legends for me. Done. 2 weeks in a row, I picked Brownstown. Enough. I'm jumping off the double-decker bus.
I have a small thing, guys. So this is the last year's game where Brownstown won Legends. So you see 18, just for the sake. So that was the scores: 119-10 and 107.
Yeah, but if you see, it's in July. That's when the diesel engine is all warmed up. That's when Brownstown is in their best. They're already warmed up and they're ready for playoffs. Yeah. So still early days.
Yeah. So yeah, we discussed the showcase game.
So, Kapil, who are you backing?
So I am going with Legends. It's just because because of the youth they have.
All
you know, both of them has the talent, but youth in the field and the bowling wise, and of course Harish. I'm going with Legends.
Rashid has a snide smile on his face saying, you guys have dismissed us as rusty old men for years and we have proven you wrong by reaching at least the semi-finals. So yes, Viju, you were about to make a point.
I have never ruled them out. I'm just waiting. I know that they're going to peak, but it's going to be that curve. I'm waiting for that curve. I can never disregard Brownstown out.
Avi, before the showcase of the game of the week, I wanted to put some color on Rashid as well as on Satish. My first recollection of Rashid was in the 2008 season and in the 2008 DCL finals. I do not know how many people remember this. GLC posted a very hefty total. As I said last week, Abhishek Permesta had a great game, and that game ended with a Samish 6, which really was a fabulous total. But then the Brownstown engine got cranking. There was Rashid, there was Imran, there was Javed, and then there was the man of the match, Rehan Bukhari. He played a fabulous game in that game, and they chased down that total. It was a daunting total, yet they chased it down. The crowd was with Brownstown on that day. And that was mainly because of Vijay Namburi. Vijay Namburi played for GLCC, and people hated Vijay Namburi. And for that reason, Brownstown had the entire crowd support. And unfortunately, in that game, there were 4 runouts, if I'm not mistaken, and Rashid can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought there were 4 runouts. That was the only year where Yasir Farhan, if I'm not mistaken, was the skipper. Maybe he was the skipper for 1 more year. But the team was led by Rehan Malik for a number of years. Rehan won the championship in 2005. But the man who has done the most for Brownstown after Yasir left and Rashid took over, he is the man who has really taken this, put in all the hard work. He's the one who has convinced all these fabulous players to come and play for him. I thought the last year was a very tough loss for him. If you ask me, there are 4 guys I would like to see their names on the cup. If I can't win the cup, this is just my personal opinion because of what they have done in the league for. One of the guys is Rashid Malik. I would love to see Rashid Malik's name on the cup because he has put in the hard yards. The other guy is Parthiv Mehta. He has also put in the hard yards. You know, he has worked really hard on getting this team to that point. Then there's another guy, the alien brain. All right, the alien brain, Ravi Narala. I feel bad for him. I would love to see his name on the cup. In fact, people might think that I and Ravi have a bad relationship. No, we have a wonderful relationship. When Ravi Narala comes, when Ravi comes to Chennai, we all go out to dinner and we discuss like as though we are the best buddies. You see, so I have a lot of respect for him, and that is another guy I would like to see on the cup. And a 4th guy is a guy named Kishan Kanangetty who plays on my team. Out of these 4 guys, the only person I can do something about is Kishan Kanangetty. And I know one thing, in 2018, and I told Satya this, that there is no way Glads would have won that cup if the Bridges had not joined us and if Taifour and company had not joined us. But it was the chemistry which allowed us to win that championship. But I have always, this year, I told Satya, talk to Kishan and see if Kishan wants to lead the team this year, because we couldn't make Kishan captain in 2018 because you can't bring in somebody and straight away give him the captaincy. You get my point? But Kishan is very well respected and very well liked by the entire Glads team. They respond very well to him. And we did offer Kishan that, hey, we would like you to be the official skipper so that if Glads wins the cup, I as a friend, I would love to see Kishan's name on the cup. So these 4 guys, I have a special regard for them because they have been chasing the cup for a long time. And, I can't do anything about the other 3 guys, but about Kishan, I can do something. We did place the offer. I didn't hear back from Kishan. I'm not going to force Kishan to do something, but I have the ultimate respect for Kishan. But regarding Satish, I told you last week itself or 2 weeks ago that he's the best manager in DCL. He works very hard. What impressed me about Satish is even before he got a DCL team, and that was during the lottery times, he used to tell me, Vijubhai, I got all the kit from India. I got all the uniforms in India. And Satish can correct me if I'm wrong. I just need a team. What do I have to need to get a team? And I used to explain the process. And that impressed me, that the guy is so diligent. He works so hard, and that he has gone and got all this kit and spent all this money and brought everything in. So I knew at that day itself that this is a special kind of a person, that this guy doesn't leave any stone unturned. And Legends, last year, they topped the pool. Am I right, Satish? In your pool, at least you topped your pool, I thought. I'm talking in 2018 or 19, you topped your pool. So that is why this game was billed as a great game, because here was a topper of a pool. And if you look at Brownstown, actually 2018, they reached the semi-final. 2019, they reached the final. Now remains to be seen whether they can graduate one more step and make it championship in 2021. I would be very happy for Rashid if he does that. But I need to get that Rehan Bukhari to somehow perform. And if I have to press all kinds of buttons, I don't mind pressing all the buttons, and I don't mind being the bad guy, but I don't mean anything against him. I just know what a fabulous player he is. And we need to somehow up the level. That's about it. But I just wanted to throw that out before the showcase game of the coverage continues. But this is a great game on the cards.
Absolutely. And I can personally attest to the fact, the point you made about Satish. I have been fortunate to play on some wonderful teams, but I still remember the best 4 days on a cricket field I've ever had has been the 2016 Novi Cup, when I first played in Satish's Legends team. I saw with amazement how the guy never got angry, never raised his voice, and yet commanded authority from his teammates who just followed his lead no matter what. And I still cherish those 4 days that I got to play on the Legends team. So I certainly attest to Satish's leadership qualities. And Brownstown, they remind me of two things. They kind of remind me of the 92 New Zealand team, the 92 World Cup, where, they have their Mansab, who's somewhat like Mark Greatbatch, who can go blazing. And otherwise, you can think of them as a team of dibbly-dobblies, but then you never know when they creep up. And the second thing they remind me of is a certain ODI when India toured Pakistan in 2004. And I think India had scored about 320 odd. And Pakistan looked down and out. But Inzamam was still on the crease. And before you knew it, they had crept to, I think, within single digits of the target. And it was a very, very close game. I believe Pakistan ended up losing, but it was one of those games where you simply didn't expect, and before you knew it, they had your hands on your throat. So, and that's the kind of team Brownstown is. And I remember, I think that was a semi-final against us at Pokiries a few years back, where, we thought they are 7 down, we've won this game, let's think about, or maybe it was like a quarterfinal or a pre-quarterfinal, but who are we facing next? And we were focused on the MI Rangers versus Knockers match happening next door. And then before we knew it, Brownstown needed about 20 odd runs to win. And we were like, good God, when the hell did this happen? So, and we got out by the skin of our teeth. But that's what makes Brownstown so exciting to be part of a game with them, as well as watch them from the sidelines. So, yes, so let's see what these two gentlemen have to talk about their game and their teams.
Yeah. So, I have a couple of questions I'll go with first one, which I have for Rashid. Rashid, I was comparing the scorecards for the two games, and they look like mirror images of each other. It's completely flipped. In the first game, I think it was Mujahid by opening, and in the last game, he was the last man. Again, in the first game, Rehan batted up the order. In the last game, he was at the bottom. So what's going on? What's going on with the batting order?
Arthur, maybe the alien brain sent a virus into Rashid's brain. All right, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I'll let Rashid answer that.
No, first of all, I just want to thank all the kind words, especially Viju. Throwback for a lot of years of DCL. That's starting back in 2004. The first year we started, we went to semifinal, and 2005, I think we won. And then from there, it's a very, very, I'll say, rewarding experience, DCL. I mean, regardless of have we won how many times, have we not won, one thing for sure is it's that DCL family. We really, really, I don't know how many of you guys know. Most of my team members, we only play this one league. I know some of the guys play other leagues here and there, but as a team, that's the only league we play. Mm-hmm. We used to play other leagues before a few years back, but we kind of, with all the stuff going on, work and everything, that's one of the mystery. A lot of people think that, hey, we take time. Yeah, it's the player availability, and then we don't play during the off season when other leagues are going on, and when we come back, it takes us time. So this diesel engine takes time to get started. So you said it right. So, so back to your question, particularly, Parthiv. And once again, thanks for kind words. Everybody. Satish, Avinash as well. So yeah, that batting order, we were actually, it's partially because of the players' availability. I don't know if you noticed that last week, Rehan Malik didn't play. The week before, he played last week, and then Mujahid is one of our guys who usually doesn't get much to bat. So at early in the season, we just give him a go. So go enjoy. Okay, because everybody's coming back after this year. It was after 2 years, but usually after 1 year, nobody's up to their mark. So it's okay whoever goes up. So that was it wasn't like really a very thought out strategy or anything. No, because as I think it's an open secret, we know what we are, and we kind of try to maximize our potential out of what we are. So we kind of know our capabilities, our limitations, our age factor, our skills, and that's what I think gets us there as a one unit, and knowing our strengths and our weaknesses, and we try to capitalize as much we can. So our strategic and all that stuff, it comes in as we start. And Parthiv, you kind of read us very well. We're gonna start peaking sometime during the league, and it's a lot of that depends on the players' availability as well.
Right.
Yeah. So I think one of the coach, I'm going to borrow that statement. Somebody said that not every coach can win with the talent, but not any coach can win without it, right? So so that's what it is. Like you can see, there's no Talal, there's no Adnan. There are a couple of other good players which are kind of very, very good, very handy, which kind of balance out our fielding situation. So they're not playing. So there are a lot of moving pieces right now.
Yeah. There is a rumor in DCL that Brownstown, basically the strategy is, get to playoffs and then we'll see it from there. Is that true? What do you say? That's pretty much accurate.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's what they call the necessity is the mother of invention, right? So it's a strategy, but it's based on what we know, what we are, and we know what our player availabilities are, and we know it's going to take us time. So you're absolutely right. Up throughout the season, always our focus is to just somehow get to the playoffs. And by the way, I don't know how many of you guys know that. Maybe my buddy Viju must know. He's a data geek. We're the only team in DCL since we started playing. We never missed a playoff. So
I have to correct you, Rashid. Gats or Lansing has always made the playoffs.
Okay, so I take that back.
And Bridges also, when they started fresh, they never missed the playoffs until they ceased to exist.
I'm saying let me correct myself. What one team under one name, starting from day one.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that one.
Would that make it unique?
That'll make it unique. Yes.
And that is commendable. That is commendable, Rashid. That's. I'm glad you made that point. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we're kind of hanging out there, and as you can see, a lot of old faces still there, like Parthiv brought up Mujahid. I mean, right. I don't know how many of you guys know it. He's over 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to quickly give a shout out to Mujahid Bhai. He's probably one of the nicest guys around in DCL. He's always whenever he's around, he always is ready for a hug, no matter where you are, who you are playing.
Yeah,
so definitely a big shout out.
No doubt about that. Mujahid Bhai is one of the, we call him, ageless wonder. He's
he's tough on the field, but
so let's see how long this diesel engine keeps cranking. But you're absolutely right. We take it, hey, let's get to the playoffs. And to be honest, once we're in the playoffs, we know it doesn't matter. Usually we end up playing against number 1 and number 2 team because of our season performance. We know that our first game is always the toughest one in the playoffs. But what does that give? Once you win that game, then you get a better ride.
Exactly.
That's a great strategy.
Right.
All right, question for Satish. Satish, I saw Harish the other day. First of all, congratulations on getting him. We've been trying a lot as well, just to let you know, to get him to play with us. But I have I've played so many years in DCL, but I feel like he is, if not the best, he's definitely one of the best bowlers in DCL. I know everybody's seen only a little bit of it, but what do you think?
Yeah. So, firstly, I would like to thank all of you for having me on the show. I hope everyone doing great during this pandemic time. And yeah, coming to your question, yeah. So, I mean, the way he prepared for uh, hopefully you would have heard about the minor league, right? So the way he prepared for himself,
Yep.
to make qualify to that minor league, that actually helping out to perform well in these leagues. I mean, it's kind of DCL, not only just DCL, even other leagues as well.
Nice. So between the two, what's going to be like, without revealing all the plans, but what is the strategy you guys are thinking about for your game?
I mean, we don't have a great strategy, but I mean, everybody else does the same thing, right? Whomever wants to play cricket, all they think about is to play positive cricket. That is what I keep telling my team every time. Just not think about the opponents and team. Whatever you want to play, let's go there and give your best, and let's play positive cricket and come back to home on a good note. If we win, we'll come back on a good note. If we lose, we'll just learn from the game. And I mean, definitely. I mean, first of all, I want to thank all of you for bringing up this as a showcase game of the week. That actually adds some pressure to me from my end, but definitely. So we are going to play a good side. I know Brownstown is a very good team all the time. Even one of my favorites team as well, Brownstown. And on a given day, they can outperform any team in the DCL league. So we always take that as an opportunity to play them, and we try to learn, see how much we can learn from them. Their experience is always a matters, right? So we are still young in the DCL league with just 2 years, so we want to learn from the seniors.
Satish, obviously 2 weeks in a row, the showcase game of the week has lived up to its billing. And obviously on paper, clearly based on the past record, at least in 2019, this was an obvious candidate for showcase game of the week. Now, the question now becomes is, last time around, Brownstown got the better of you. What do you have to do this time around to put it back on the other foot and reverse the thing? What would you say you took back from that loss? A loss is not always bad. If you can take something out of it and say, you know what, this is something which did not work for me last time around, and now I need to correct that this time around because I don't want to repeat the same mistake. If we don't learn from our mistakes, then we are never going to improve. It's as simple as that. So tell me what you have learned from the last time to Brownstown, what you're looking to improve, something specific to your team. Obviously, some of the new additions like Harish, if he plays, obviously is going to be a big boost to your team. But you have to expect that they are going to come with Talal, and they are going to come with Mansab and Adnan and everybody else they can think of. You get my point? I mean, that's how I would prepare, in the sense that I would think that they'll come with their best team. And when they come with their best team, they are a different unit altogether. We all know that. I know it the hard way, but.
Yeah, so definitely, if I'm not wrong, we played with Brownstown in 2018, not 2019. 2018, that's when we started the team for the DCL season. And I still believe that Mansab missed out in that game, but still Brownstown played a really good game that day. They scored some 110 runs. I was seeing that scorecard where Satya shared. But we try to give our best with the bowling, with the batting attack, what we have, and then we could manage to score like close to that. We lost by 10 runs, I believe. But the lessons learned that from that game is basically the bowling, what we performed on the given day. We missed out Srikanth that day. We just had Praveen and few other bowlers, and we had to leak some extras and some runs there. That thing, when compared to that year and this year's squad, we have some betterment in the bowling side of squad. So we want to focus there more on the bowling side, and also we added some couple of batsmen as well to the batting squad when compared to the previous one. And I mean, as you said, we definitely expect big guns to show up to the game, and it is really a showcase game of the week. But we are prepared for it.
Oh, can you do me a favor, Satish? I love watching DCL games. can you please not put it? I mean, I don't mind if you put it in quick clubs, but that thing doesn't work. It freezes every single time. Can you also put a parallel link on YouTube? And I don't know, search it out. Or you can
Yeah,
place in there.
we are working on that. We are working on that. Hopefully, you will not have any interruptions, just like the first game. So we'll try our best to give you. The
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you just put it simply on YouTube without using the, I mean, you can use the Crick Club app. That's fine. But if you had a parallel link which is going on YouTube, at least you know one thing. Even if the Crick Club app doesn't work or the video part of it doesn't work, because I 100%. If this game is live, I am watching the game. It's a showcase game of the week. I'm definitely watching it. So despite all the interruptions, I watched your first game against Hitman and I kept hitting refresh about 35, 40 times. And then I finally gave up. But that's just a personal request that I would love to see this. Not just me, there will be others who probably want to see the showcase game of the week. But good luck to you on that, this thing. But if that is possible, just consider it as a personal request to broadcast the showcase game of the week. But I had a question for Rashid on this one. Rashid, every year it's a 12-game season. Now, you played 2 games, you have 0 points, nothing to show forth, not even a bonus point. The question now becomes, the goal is always to win a championship. I know you. If you are not in the run for a championship, you're not even playing, because you are playing to win the championship, not for just making it, just say, I played. But this year you have only 10 games. So the margin of error is much lesser. The diesel engine, if it's going to take too long, and if it's going to be a charcoal engine for too long, you will not be able to come back. So the question now to you is, what needs to happen? Obviously, something needs to change, because you don't have that same margin of safety as in a 12-game season. Now it is just an 8-game season for you compared to others, because the 2 games has just vanished. So out of 8 games, you'll have to pull out 5 to 6 games, and that too with bonus. Otherwise, that question, the good thing for you is it's a much easier pool. You're not in pool C, where you probably would get mercilessly killed if you don't have the best unit on every given day, or almost every given day. Over to you.
Yeah, no, I think your observation is right on, Viju. I mean, this is a different season this year. So unlike the previous years when you have 12 games, you can afford to take some time to get yourself into that position, and where you start peaking, and you get your players availability, and you win like 7+ games, and you're through. But of course, this year with 2 less games, and especially our schedule is not really favoring us either. I don't know if you've seen that our last 2 weeks are umpiring weeks. So we are this year, unfortunately, we're more front loaded compared to like other years. So yeah, after losing the first 2 games, it's going to become a little more difficult for us. I don't disagree with you, but quite frankly, these first 2 games for our math, we had 1 penciled in on our win side out of these 2. So we lost, from my calculation, from my our think tank, we lost 1 of our W went into L. So now we need to pull 1 other L, which we were expecting, or we didn't care. Now we need to turn that around from L to W. So I mean, we'll do whatever it takes, and I guess it's just have to get the guys out of their comfort zone, coming out playing. First of all, as Satish mentioned, playing positively. But my very first comment is, hey, first playing. Then that's the big thing, at least for a few of the guys who are our star players or the better performers, right? So I think with that said, our work has been cut out for us. This year is going to be a little more challenging than any other years, and we'll see how far it goes. But you're absolutely right. It is going to be tough.
Next question. This is a question which people ask Roger Federer a lot, and I'm a big Federer fan, as you can see from the hat, which is that, okay, if you don't win Wimbledon, is this your last hurrah? Kind of a thing is what they ask Roger Federer. So that's my question. If you don't make playoffs this year, would this be the last hurrah for Brownstown? This is always there is this worry which goes through a Federer fan's mind. Is this the last time I'm seeing him playing? The same question to you is, would this be the last hurrah if you didn't make the playoffs this year? Again, that's a possibility. So that's why I had to throw it out there.
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. And given, our team chemistry and where we are, from age-wise, these things are all open, right? There's no secret there, right? I can tell you this from last 3-4 years, it's almost like that, when the season comes to end, even after getting to the playoffs or,
right,
finishing off, whether semi-final, final, a year before we lost the quarterfinal. So it's like that, you know what? Don't have much time. It's fun, but let's at some point call it, hey, this is enough. But what happens when the next season comes in? It all kicks in, baby. It's like, you know what? Screw it. I am doing it. I'll pull the guys back in.
Okay.
So it goes through our mind
so
almost
true.
every season. But of course, if you lose that badly, yeah, it's gonna be even worse. So I can't tell you, Viju, one way or the other, honestly, because that's something we've been going through almost every year. But well, we'll see. I think it's kind of, let's see how it goes.
Rashid, while I remember, I should say this. There was a question in our own WhatsApp group saying, will Rashid come on the show, considering that, they have lost 2 games in a row? And I said, well, I know Rashid very well, and I know he's a sportive guy. And I know that no matter what you say or whatever it is, he's a man's man. He's not going to run away from the situation. I fully expect him to come on the show. And I said, it's going to be awkward for me asking him tough questions. But as a friend, I like to see him do well. But at the same time, as an analyst, I have to ask tough questions or make tough observations. But I said, the Rashid I know will not shirk from it. He will not run away from the situation. He'll face it head on, come what may. And that is one of the reasons why I have always admired you and respected you for the challenge which you are taking, because a lesser man, I can guarantee you in writing, would not have showed up and sat in the chair which you're sitting. So from all the way in India, great respect for being able. It's easy to come on the show when you're winning and doing great and your everything is going your way. But your true character shows up when things are not going your way and tough questions are posed, criticisms are come your way. How do you handle that? And that is, I think that separates the men from the boys and character guys from the people with lesser character. But just wanted all of DCL to know that, yes, tough to come, but I expected nothing else from the great Rashid Malik. So thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you, Vijay. Thank you. All these kind words. It means a lot. So honestly, win loss, that's part of the game. That's all we, of course, no question about that. Everybody wants, when you get into the game, forget anything. You are playing to win. No question about that.
You play to win the game.
Exactly.
Otherwise, why do you play?
Exactly. No matter what kind of team you have at the day, when you get in the ground, you forget everything. Now you are there, and you're gonna do whatever it takes. I think both the games, our opponents played better than us. Hats off to them. Nothing to take away from them, regardless of whatever. No excuses. So once again, it's and that's what I was talking to some of the key team members, this week. Hey, this is time to. It's a wake up. Let's take that as a wake up call, particularly the last game, where we had the game in our hands and we were dropping catches like anything, like buckets. So that's the type of thing, thinking and comeback we have to make. But once again, I appreciate all the good words from everybody, the show. Much appreciated. And I'll say also all the best to Satish. I think we will have nothing but a very good game. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, thanks, Rashid. I
Yeah.
wish you the same.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's very important for the league to have young and upcoming teams like legends show up and play well and be successful, and it is equally important, at least for DCL, for a strong, well-playing Brownstown to continue coming. So we certainly hope we will get to see that bright smile shining out of the henna-dyed beard of Mujahid Bhai for many years to come. And the strong performing Brownstown is very important to this league, as I mentioned. So go well, gentlemen. Give us a lovely game this weekend, and hopefully we will have an exciting game to discuss next week as well. Yes, Vijay.
One question, Avi. While I have both these gentlemen, and I respect both of them, I wanted to ask them just one question in the interest of the show. Is there anything which we can do better? Absolutely, I agree on the time, that we should cut down on the time. But I don't know. Every week we seem to be going over than the previous week. We say we need to cut it down. And today I found that just covering the games, we took even more time than the other weeks. I keep saying that I'm going to cut down on the color, but we are covering even more. So
I mentioned in our group, I see a 3-hour show coming up, and we are at 2 hours 50 minutes. So
just quickly, is there something which we can do to improve other than the time, which we already know that?
Yeah, no, this is great. Please go ahead.
No, you can do it. Okay. So yeah, I think Viju, you already covered the times side of it. That's definitely the content is honestly, it's hard to not listen to. It's all masala. It's very interesting, very enthusiastic. I mean, I appreciate all the analysts taking time and analyzing the games. I think, but that's the area where time factor needs to be considered. You guys already know that. You are all smart guys. You know that no matter how good the show is, my recommendation will be still cut into the time. Otherwise, I see this is great show. I mean, honestly, I would like to watch that hours and hours of whenever time, but still it needs to be manageable in a time frame. That's the only thing I see it. One more thing I mentioned, but I think that was and I mentioned it to Satya as well, starting the show at 8 o'clock, that's a little bit too early in the summertime. But I think Satya mentioned because of it's in the weekdays, so that's another downside if you delay it, because you can't. If you're expecting the show to be going longer, then it's hard to start at 9 o'clock. But if I was you, I would have started at 9 o'clock. So I think it will be easier for the audience to join versus 8. But again, that's me thinking. I could be wrong. Rest, I think your content is great. I mean, I think this is the fun show. Definitely, we already have one radio show, which is definitely one of the fun things to look towards. But with the video and coming up with all the colorful analyses, that's definitely hey, I mean, DCL is going to new heights. I mean, you combine that with the guys like Satish doing trying to doing the games live telecast. I mean, this is great. DCL has definitely going to new highs. So I really appreciate all the hard work, you guys, and I know that how much hard work it goes even behind the scene, how much work, how much you guys have to spend your personal times out of everyone has busy lives, right? But it's the passion which makes you do all that, and that's what makes DCL unique. I really appreciate you guys doing it, and honestly, I think this is we're lucky to have all this fun in even in these difficult time and at this part of our ages.
Well, thank you for those very kind words. It's definitely heartwarming. Your points are very well made and very well taken, and we'll certainly consider that in our group, and hopefully going forward we can accommodate both the span as well as the broadcast time as well. But once again, gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time and patiently bearing with us through the show. Thank you for joining us tonight. And to the audience, thank you for watching. And we hope those of you that missed it live will catch it sometime before this weekend's games. These games, majority of them, I believe, especially the showcase game of the week, is at Woodhaven, which I believe is our own Gabba. Nice, hard, fast, and bouncy wickets. So that makes for an exciting watch as well. So good luck to both of you. Thank you to my fellow panelists again for bringing so much color to this league and to our week. All of you, take care, stay healthy, go well. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks.
Goodbye. Good night. Congrats. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.